cool.
Yeah.
I had a surplus of funds last year, so I sprung for the hoodie.
Nice.
Oh, somebody's having fun.
Yep. I am having,
I'll have
and
what
I
he's
recommend
having.
this. I am having the Imperial Gingerbread Spiced
What?
Stout from Guinness.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
Nice.
Oh, it's tasty.
Yes.
Excellent.
Who? I'm the turkey. Who's not the turkey?
I'm not
That-
the turkey.
Oh, Madman.
Madman.
Well, I'm also not a turkey, but fine.
Sadly, I might be a turkey.
Well, yes, but deep down we always knew that, Rob.
You a jive
Yeah.
ass turkey.
Okay.
Shout out to Sherman Hemsley.
All right. Thank you, 1974.
You know, my favorite. I obviously love the Jeffersons, but I love the fact that he was in one of the 1980s Twilight Zone episodes. Where he,
Oh yeah, Sherman Hemsley. Oh yeah.
yeah, where he
I
was a
remember that.
mathematician trying to solve a problem and had to figure out how to get rid of Satan, and it was
Because
a
this is
short
80s
one.
Twilight Zone, that's why.
Yeah.
Would you like?
Oh, there was some good to that
flesh
though.
of Jesus?
That was my one. This is my chief complaint about 80s Twilight Zone, and kind of the 90s Twilight Zone, is that there was a bit more horror in it than I felt like it needed.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before, but
Yeah, we have. I mean, the horror aspect of it didn't bother
We've
me
had
so
every
much.
conversation at this point.
Yeah, we pretty much have.
how many of these have we done?
Now, I have not seen any of the new Twilight Zone.
It
Has anybody
actually
watched any of
veers
that?
it veers a lot less toward horror than you expect from Jordan Peele. So
Well, no, but I know Jordan Peele respects the source material a lot.
Yeah.
I could see him adhering to. What was that?
One ping,
My-
please.
My bird.
One
Oh.
ping.
Oh,
uh,
That beeping noise is the fucking bird.
I mean, in
The
in
bird's backing
2020, who the
and
hell
your bird
knows?
can sing.
Yeah.
It can,
But
but generally it likes to just sit around and go fuck and make loud beeping noises.
Oh, like me.
Oh well, it does that too.
Yeah, unfortunately, living in the house with me has lent it to some.
And why
gadgets everywhere.
did you acquire another thing that goes beep?
That came with my marriage, sir.
Oh,
That came with my
okay.
marriage. That was part
Well,
of the package.
it's
deal.
better.
no,
than
he's
things-
talking about the bird.
Oh,
Well, it's better than things that make you go,
is it though?
Just saying.
I don't
So was
know.
you were talking about Jordan Peele or something?
Oh yeah, I had not seen any of the new Twilight Zone yet, but I want to because he, like I said, he obviously knows what he's doing. You know.
Rox is here.
Hi. Hey,
Rox.
so Peel got endorsed by Rod Serling's daughter.
Yeah.
Over all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
pretty cool.
big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Probably got
it
Probably got
is.
a nice check. Probably got a nice check with it too.
Well, I don't know about that, but the family, so I come from Binghamton, and that's where Rod Serling is from.
Yeah.
And so it's she was very, very concerned on, who would be, spearheading it this time, so because the 80s one wasn't so great.
We were just having that conversation.
okay.
Yep.
Well, I was backstage apparently.
Yeah. It as I've told Tuffley, it has its moments. It has has a few really good episodes, but a lot of them are forgettable.
Yes.
And I honestly forgot about the the '90s Forrest Whitaker one. I
Yeah.
forgot about
They did a lot of sequel episodes for some reason, which is a little weird. They did one to with Billy Mooney in it.
Hmm.
I remember hearing about that one, and I think I saw
they
it
did-
once. But
Yeah, they did a bunch of sequel episodes, which is just weird.
I can't recall any of them.
I
At all.
just recall the Moomy one happened, and didn't they do like a remake of that one in the '80s? Am I
Yeah,
remembering that right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
80s Twilight Zone. 80s Twilight Zone had its fair share of remakes and not any sequel episodes, I don't think, but a couple of remakes. Just some modernizations. I mean,
Right.
like that was around the time, like what was it, like Bradbury, and they had an Alfred Hitchcock Presents revival, and so all of these shows
right.
started doing the remakes or reboots of like earlier episodes just to update them.
Yeah, because now we have a new Amazing Stories thing coming too.
Yeah, Amazing Stories.
Yes.
They're doing a reboot of Amazing Stories.
Oh,
Yeah, I
maybe
think
we
they're
should
shooting that here actually.
wait until we get Travelers.
Are you talking about a second season of Amazing Stories? Because there's already
It's
is.
There's
Right.
already one.
Yeah,
It's on Apple TV.
yeah.
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 I
Oh,
haven't.
and somebody just brought up Amazing Stories, and I just said I thought they were shooting it here.
So the
Oh, well,
Billy,
I'm-
so
yeah,
the
what
Billy
was I saying?
Mooney one. So
Yeah.
so that was like its second remake because there was a version of that in the Twilight Zone the movie
Yeah, there was, but that didn't.
with
the-
Kevin. What's his name from?
Sorbo?
No,
No.
Okay,
do it. Don't do
no,
it.
from Body Snatchers from the original.
Yeah.
Smith?
No,
No.
McCarthy.
McCarthy. Yeah, he plays the crazy uncle. Everyone's caught.
Spoilers.
in-
Bacon.
Yeah, yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Also,
We
Damn
can't
it.
have nice things.
Nope.
well, apparently neither can Kevin Bacon, but that's never stopped him now, does it?
He's
Now
got
he's had some
Kira
nice
Sedgwick.
things.
Nice.
He has had
Yeah,
some nice
that's
things.
true. What is the other
Will and
one?
Grace.
But,
Has anyone
wait, well-
watched Lovecraft Country?
Yes,
Yes.
I binge watched it all weekend.
I
Oh.
need to. It looks amazing.
I just saw the first 2 episodes and I'm like, whoa.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I'm getting HBO Max pretty damn soon, so I'm going to be able to binge some things for about a month. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I watched American Utopia and that this weekend. I got all that in.
Yeah,
Mad
I,
Men
ha-
was saying-
I
Now
had
what-
to
Never mind.
I had to school a friend of mine who texted me because a lot of people just don't know how much of a racist Lovecraft was
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah,
really?
a bit.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there are a lot. You know, it's
The-
like, oh,
yeah.
hey, I know the Cthulhu, the plushy Cthulhu, you know, and I know some bits. A lot of it happens a lot. So
Well,
it was
honestly,
this
if you've-
texting back and forth of, I don't know if you know this.
But I mean, I am a firm believer in, you know, as long as you know the background of it, take the stuff and don't let the fact that the person's an asshole spoil it. You know,
Right. Well,
So-
with Lovecraft Country, it's just, you know, taking it and really delving into it.
oh that.
I mean-
oh, that, yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you look at it from that angle, I'm-
completely into it.
Mhm.
Yep.
They
get
really
completely
do.
Into
Yeah,
it.
that's kind of the point with that show, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, for some reason, I seem to recall that we will be getting HBO Max for at least a month because I don't know. something-
Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, you have that at your house too.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I have a person who wants to see that
Yeah, that's
movie
gotta
and
happen.
can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
so
I have one. Yeah, yep.
can't leave the house for that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
we're just gonna do that. Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I keep seeing all of these announcements about opening Christmas, and I'm like, really? Where? Where?
It's
where
yeah.
exactly?
Well,
The
We have-
drive-in.
we have
That's
theaters.
Driving. Yeah,
I
yeah.
go to the drive-in. Right?
Well,
I sit
we've
in
got
my
AMC's
car.
open.
We don't have any drive-ins.
Hey, we're not going to AMC's.
No,
Well,
we're not
I'm just
doing it.
saying, there is
As
a
I-
theater that is going to be open that will run this, but
yeah, like I said,
Not doing it.
You can pay
I-
$100 and rent
get
the
me
whole
to go
theater.
see. If you can't get me
Something
to go
like that.
see Tenet in 70 millimeter in a theater,
Yeah.
would this be
Yeah.
one of the 3 cities in the country that show it? I'm not going anywhere. That
yeah,
that
we
was
did have it.
tempting.
Yep.
That almost got me,
Yep.
but
Well,
no.
I
So
one,
that-
one of the things I heard.
Oh.
One of the things I heard from my friend that does movie promotion stuff
Yeah.
is that one of the things they're going to do probably in the summer of 2021 is re-roll that out with everything. Like, so you might get other cities that still have the 70 millimeter thing again
Cool.
because they want to try to recoup it. So
Well, and people are going to want
And
to
it's
see
gonna
it
be
on the big
crowded then,
screen.
isn't it?
That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the thing, is because it's like if there are a few films that I would be like, no, I got it IMAX. Like Nolan. Nolan is the
Yeah.
guy who fully grasps the IMAX concept
Yeah.
and builds his films around it, much in the same way that, if Scorsese ever did want to do another 3D movie, I don't care what the hell it was, I would totally go see it because of Hugo, because he obviously
Yeah.
knew what he was doing. What is the name of that damn? I was looking the couple of really good 80s Twilight Zone episodes, Nightcrawlers, which is the one about a war veteran in the diner, was directed by William Friedkin. So that makes sense why that would be. And I don't know the director of Button Button, which is the episode where the strange guy comes to the couple and says, I have a button, and if you press the button, if you push the button, I will give you $100,000 tax-free cash, but someone you do not know will die.
I think
That
I remember
was a
that
fan-
one. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the
Then-
one
then they
I've
turned
been
it into a
posting.
movie.
Yes, and I did not see the movie because part of me was just like, how do you turn that into a movie? It's not that long of a story. But anyway, that's the one I've been posting over and over again, saying, if you're not wearing a mask and you're going out and you're partying while the pandemic is going on, you've obviously not watched this, or if you did, you didn't understand it. Watch it again.
Yeah.
What is the damn? I'm trying to find. There was a great episode where they send a guy. It was William. I'll just search on William Peterson. William Peterson to
Was it the
need
William
to
Peterson
know.
one with the killers? With
No,
like
no.
the cultists? With like the
No,
cultist
no.
people?
No,
Okay.
you're
Because he was in
close.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah, you're close. This was one where basically he's like I want to say like a CDC-esque guy who goes out to investigate the fact that people are going crazy in this town, and they go crazy. And Rox, if you've seen this, you would remember it because they go crazy because they apparently know the secret to life, and they want to whisper it to you. And if they whisper it to you, you start screaming and go insane. And it's so good.
Well, not many people know this, Widge, but it's the joke from the Monty Python sketch.
Well, that would kill you, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it kill you?
Well,
the
I mean,
joke
it
was
eventually killed people in the episode, didn't it?
Let's see. So that was directed by Paul Lynch, who directed Prom Night and Humongous. Those are two. Humongous is a 80s VHS classic.
Yeah.
And the Medic was the guy who did Button Button. Who are you? Hungarian born. What did he? Wow. He's still around. Born in 1937. He directed episodes of Hannibal. For God, and Breaking. Okay, and The Wire. He's been around. Huh. I'm trying to see what else he did. Did he direct The Changeling? Oh, the 1980 Changeling with George C. Scott. You know that one, right,
Yeah,
Rox?
oh, I do. I like that one. That
Oh, it is. That when I was watching The Conjuring, which I think I may have mentioned before, nothing's actually conjured in it, which is a bit of a letdown. But they were bothering.
2 hours and your money, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. What bothered me was that basically they had borrowed stuff from other films, one of which was The Changeling, and like I kept wanting to just stop watching that and go watch a better movie. It kept reminding me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's why it's good. So yeah, the two of my 3 favorite 80s Twilight Zone episodes were directed by William Friedkin of The Exorcist and the guy who directed the George C. Scott Changeling, which is one of the greatest ghost movies ever. So yeah, that would explain it.
So Button was written based on Richard Matheson.
Yes, and he
story
did not like the adaptation that they did for the show, even though I thought it was fantastic. So, but you know, we don't always agree on everything. Me and Richard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'd almost have to like really look at this again because, so, you know, it's not like.
Are you encouraging some sort of watch along to 80s Twilight Zone?
I don't know. Well,
I think which would be on that.
Well, here's the thing.
Can't see me. I'm dancing in my chair. Can't see me. I'm dancing in my chair.
So, you know, our regular channels have like the Decades channel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the weekends they do these marathons. And I think they did do some sort of anthology, and I don't think it was the Twilight Zone because they did do Paladin of the Lost Hour. That's the one. It's a Harlan Ellison story. And it had Danny Kaye in it. Ooh. So that was like one of his last things. So I'm not sure. Oh no.
Was it Outer Limits?
No, it was a reboot. It was the reboot. Too. Yeah, it was the reboot to Outer Limits. That's it. So they did
2 or 3 reboots of Outer Limits.
Outer Limits.
Yeah.
So that one was part of an Outer Limit thing. So so yeah. They really I'm looking at the Wikipedia listing for the 80s Twilight Zone. So Shatterday they had for know the story based on Ellison. So it's not like they got, just regular I guess script writers. So it's just, did you know Wes Craven directed one?
Yeah.
Wes Craven directed multiple ones.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Downey directed one. Like I said, the William Friedkin, the Peter Medic, Joe Dante, John Milius. Mm-hmm. So, which is interesting because I was just looking at the 90s Forrester Whitaker series. It was actually 2002. But the directors on this I thought were interesting. Frakes, Debbie Allen directed the remake of Monsters Are on Maple Street.
Yeah.
Lou Diamond Phillips directed one. Eric LaSalle directed one. Bob Balaban.
So I'm just looking at this. So Paladin of the Lost Hour was also on Twilight Zone. So apparently they just swapped one with the other. And it is the one with Danny Kaye in it.
At one point or another, they all feel like they were swapped.
They were, yeah. They all had that same feel.
There was one point. There was like a point in the
80s.
There was like a point in the 80s where there was like the Twilight Zone episode felt like the Tales from the Crypt episode. That felt like the Ray Bradbury episode. That felt like the Alfred
Tales from the Dark Side episode.
Exactly.
It's almost like they use the same formula, the same set direction, the same. You know, it.
Well, they
it
all shot in
didn't-
Vancouver, so they probably did.
Yeah, but they still had
Yeah,
that kind
probably.
of. We're doing this on a back lot. I mean, there was nothing. You know, even though the original Twilight Zone, they utilized a lot of the CBS backlot type stuff.
Right.
It just looked better. I think the problem I have with like 80s stuff, it doesn't look good. Even when I was watching it back then, because then back in the 80s, I started watching films.
Well,
And the technology of filming television is so different than film at the time was filming, you know, movies. You know, but now it's almost like a revert. You know, well, TV now could be filmed in a way like, you know, of a movie TV. I think.
well,
Right.
even with 80s Twilight Zone, what was it? 2 seasons. It was actually on network, and like the rest of it was syndicated.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They threw money at it when it was on network. They threw less money on it when it went to syndication, but they did throw money at it. Hello.
Hey,
JJ's
JJ.
here.
No, JJ,
Hello.
howdy.
Like Tales from the Dark Side just looked really cheap all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that was
It was.
Romero's.
It was.
That was Romero's production company, so
Yeah.
he was used to doing stuff on no money.
Well, and then you had that other series? What was it? Monsters?
Monsters.
Oh,
Monsters was
yeah.
bargain basement Tales from the Dark Side.
It was, but they had really good
It
stories.
was like Tales from the Dark Side filmed in the Dollar Tree.
Oh,
I don't
you
even
know
remember
what? You know
Monsters.
whose was good, but it was like late 70s was Tales of the Unexpected and
That's
and
good.
was
Oh, the Roald Dahl.
Raw Dahl stuff.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
stuff was because that was filmed overseas.
Oh, and they brought
that
One
was
Step Beyond back for like a year or two, and that was really weird.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Tales from the Unexpected was a UK show, and
Yeah,
and it was
I
great
love
because
that.
Dahl introduced all of them, didn't he?
Mhm. Yep.
And you had, of course, all of those actors from over there. But
Mhm.
and that's the thing about, I always tell people, if you think Dahl is weird when you read like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, find his adult short stories.
Oh my God,
'Cause
the
they're
landlady. The landlady is one
Yes.
that our teach. It was,
Was
like
super
we,
sexy.
No, oh no,
Oh.
no,
Oh,
no.
no,
it's,
no.
it's this guy
Whoa.
who, you know,
Whoa.
there's he answers room for let
Everybody's got a
for
kink.
rent, and it's creepy as hell. It ranks up there with like a night gallery type thing. But we read
Yeah,
that
Dahl-
story, gosh, in like high school or
Well,
Didn't
junior high, I think.
Dahl basically was introduced to me when my creative writing teacher in high school realized she wasn't going to get me to write anything normal. So she said, "Here, you need this," and handed me the anthology Kiss Kiss by Roald Dahl. I still have that copy of that book because I was like, oh, this is weird shit. This is the Willy Wonka guy, and he is exactly as demented as you think he is. But yeah, that was a good one. I actually I don't remember it much, but I remember having a soft spot in my heart for Friday the 13th, the series, which was essentially an
yeah.
anthology.
Yeah.
Yes,
show.
it sure was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man,
I've been watching on Prime Thriller, which was an anthology series from the
Was this Karloff?
60s? No. Mm-mm. It was
This
a
was
British
Killer,
show.
Yeah.
So it was just that sort of British horror. And I think one of the last ones they finally had one with Peter Cushing in it. So that was really cool.
Oh, nice.
Wasn't there like a
Um,
Hammer? Wasn't there like a Hammer anthology show in the 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one coming.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
But-
seem to recall that.
But Thriller ran for like I think 64 to 64, 67. So
it's
6 years.
British?
6 years. Yeah.
73
It's called-
to 76 is what it says. That's why I was confused because the Carla one is an American thriller and it was
Correct.
60 to 62. So
Okay.
no, I hadn't heard of the British one.
That one's good.
Interesting.
It's on Prime. It's good. Some of them are like so-so, but some
Yeah.
of them are really like one that was maybe done before Wicker Man. So there was like this village with, you know, maybe devil worship, and it was really clever. The ending is really clever on several of them.
Although it's probably the same village.
But here's the thing. The weird thing
Yeah,
is
probably.
about that show is they would get like third-rate American actors like Gary. He's Gary.
Gary Martin Hayes?
Cooper.
No.
Marshall?
Gary U.S. Bonds.
Gary the Playboys.
Burkoff. Gary Burkoff.
Gary Conway.
Gary Busey.
No, he used to be on Amazing People or something.
It's
Gary Coleman.
it's
No.
it's Collins, isn't it? Gary Collins.
Gary Collins. He was like
Yeah.
on 2 episodes. He is such a horrible actor. It was
Oh,
just
that
like,
was,
oh my god.
Oh, it's not he. Okay, so Night Gallery, right? We were talking about Night Gallery a minute ago. He was in
Yes.
a TV show that they glued on to like Night Gallery's run, like the psychic thing,
Wow.
like
Huh.
that. Night Gallery's like in syndication, like Night Gallery has 100 episodes, but Night Gallery only had
Yeah.
30.
Right.
So,
Oh wow.
Gary Hart?
Oh, wow. We're doing that? Holy Donna, right.
it's named that Gary.
Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross.
Yeah.
Glenn Velvet.
Gary Gygax.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
Gary
Now
Oldman?
there's let's see.
Old Man
Yeah,
Will.
I did not. I did not actually watch Freddy's Nightmares. I forgot that was a thing.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
He basically hosted
Every
it.
episode.
Well, there
Yep.
was Freddy's Nightmares, and then there was Nightmare Cafe, which was the thing Wes Craven was doing, which
Oh,
was
right.
on at around the same time. That
Yes,
Robert
six
Englund was
episodes.
also in.
Apparently.
Oh,
Man.
you know who was a good one? It was a horrible show. It was really bad, but it was an anthology show,
Yeah.
and it was hosted by John Waters.
Ooh.
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
Oh, was
like,
that 1,000 Ways to Die? Is that what was that? What
I
it was
think
called?
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like, I
Yeah.
didn't write anything. They just gave me money just to host it.
What was
Wait,
that?
is it-
was that IFC?
Is it Till
I
Death
think
Do Us
so.
Part?
Maybe
He did that one too.
Is that right?
Because
What-
he did 1,000 Ways to Die, and then he did
Yeah.
this other one.
Was
Yeah.
it Gary
Okay.
Glitter?
No, Gary. No, John Waters.
Gary
Mind it.
Newman.
Oh, my God.
Just looking television.
Gary
Oh, yeah. So I see Till Death Do Us Part
Yep.
was
Gary
basically
Trudeau?
stories about. Oh, good lord. Till Death Do Us Part was basically an anthology show where he played the Groom Reaper, and he was telling stories about married couples, and they wind up like killing one another or something.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Groom
He
John-
was also,
and then-
he was also
then-
in 1,000 Ways to Die, right? I am thinking of that, right?
I don't.
Yeah,
don't
him and
see
Gary Sheffield.
I do see that he was he apparently played himself on an episode of Blacklist. What?
Yeah,
Oh
him
my
and Gary
god,
Vee.
what? I'm gonna have to look at
They're
that.
desperately trying to get me to watch that show again. It's not going to work.
Gary Holt from Exodus.
He also
Very
presented a
impressive.
show called John Waters Presents Movies That Will Corrupt You.
Yes.
That's a great
Yeah.
title.
Okay, no, there was 1,000 Ways to Die, but it wasn't Waters. Ron Perlman did a bunch of narration on it.
Yeah, I think I saw that on that may have its own channel on Pluto TV, but everything has a channel on Pluto TV. So
It does.
Yeah.
Except
Mhm.
weirdly,
Oh, how
not
a
Pluto.
great segue.
Mm.
I think I have the mic turned
Da-da-da-da.
off. I think I'm back to normal now.
You
I,
what?
I like Pluto TV.
Yeah, I
Well,
do
that's
too.
where that's
Back
where
to normal.
that's where Cosette
Whatever
found
passed
Roadshow
normal.
UK, which we are now completely addicted to,
Isn't that
and
great?
have been. It's
No,
it's
it's
amazing.
not. Stop encouraging people.
It's great.
What?
Wait, I
What,
missed
It's
it.
also where you can find a copy of Pluto
Your
Net.
your cookie tin is actually worth $3,000. No, that's
No.
not.
No.
That's not.
No, Tuffley, you're thinking of the American one. I'm talking about the UK one where they're like, oh,
Everyone has
so-
shit that's that old.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's like so. There's this. I have to find this segment. We watched it on Pluto TV where somebody brought in a book, and it belonged to it used to belong to a school, and his I want to say like his grandmother or something had been a teacher there and wanted to help teach the kids about writing letters, like requesting things. And so this was for the coronation of Elizabeth I. They requested of all of the dignitaries and military folks who were going to be in attendance for an autograph, basically. And the book is all of these various autographs that they've like mounted in this book. And the one autograph that they apparently got rejected when they asked for it was Churchill's. But Churchill's autograph is in the book. He's the only one who signed the book itself. And apparently they got everybody else's together. Somebody sent the book to Mrs. Churchill, who apparently took it to Churchill. And as they said, probably said something like, sign it. And so they have the rejection letter in the book and it's signed. And then they have the letter where they sent it back from Churchill's person saying, oh, the prime minister is sent his autograph with his regards, but it was an amazing story that they had basically gotten a rejection from Churchill. I don't sign anything for anybody because I get requests all the time, but I'm sure Mrs. Churchill was like, these are a bunch of little kids, sign the fucking thing and send it back. So yeah, you'll have stuff like that and stuff like oh yeah, this is what were we were seeing some. Oh, here's a tiny vase that's like from the 12th century China that's worth $3,000. They actually have cool shit on the UK Antiques Roadshow. The American Antiques Roadshow is a joke. Don't watch it. The UK one though is awesome, especially because people will show up with like their entire like here's all my great grandfather's medals. I'm not going to sell them. I just wanted to, find out how much they were worth for like insurance purposes and brag about my great grandfather in the war. And it's like there was one medal they had where the military expert was like, apparently it was a naval medal, and you got little bands across the top of it, and 2 for particular battles. I can't remember which ones they were, but and then the top 4 were for when you basically went from your ship and boarded the other ship you were the boarding party to take the other ship. That's how long ago this was. And the military expert was like, yeah, I see one of these all the time. 1 stripe for being on one boarding party. 2, sometimes. 4, I've never seen it before, ever. And I've been doing this for 30 years. So you get crazy shit like that. Somebody had a medal that they had for like unbravery that they had made 13 of. It was solid gold. He's like, this is the 3rd I've seen. 1 is in the Imperial War Museum. 1 came up for auction 3 years ago, and this is the 3rd one I've ever seen. The first one I've ever got to hold. It's very cool.
Wow. I remember
it's
seeing
very
just
cool.
one episode. Now, I like to compare it to the US, people that bring in crap. It's like, yeah, we'll give you like 5 seconds or something. This couple brought in, it was like a mummified ancient bird's nest. I mean, it was just like something that was, it was like, you know, well over a couple 100 years old, but they're like, we don't have a clue. This is awesome though. But we don't know what, maybe you could take it to the Museum of Natural History.
Right.
We don't, but it was really cool because normally it'd be like in the US, it'd be like, I have this piece of trash, you know, and they said it was like worth $1.
Well, but
they
yeah,
didn't.
and if you go to the UK version, you can see they've got lines just around everywhere of people waiting to see. So they basically just pick the cream of the crop of who they want to go on television.
Well,
and they don't crap up. If they do bring up crap, well, but I mean, they do have some crap though on the US one, where it's like, well, this is a 40-year-old dartboard that's, you know, was apparently once shot at by somebody, you know, whereas over there it's like somebody showed up with a bottle and said, oh yeah, I found this in, you know, under the threshold of the door of my house, and like, oh, this is a witch from the 13th century that they buried there to basically keep evil spirits out of your house. I'm like, yeah, you don't see that shit on an Antiques Roadshow over here.
We don't have that.
No.
The best we can do is like, oh, it's the original version of Operation from the 50s. That's great.
Yeah, but now that poor person has 13th century ghosts in their house.
We've been waiting all this time. Thanks for moving that bottle. Actually, we're just really tired. Can we sit down?
Ghost in their house.
I just want to see.
It's Britain.
It's true. That is true.
No,
all the houses are haunted.
It looks like your attic in the video you did for Brian. You posted that picture, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We have what we call the sub attic, which is basically a door that enters into the space above the garage. So we have the attic, which we don't really use, but the sub attic, which we use for storage. So I cleared out like half of it, basically sat down. Cosette helped me fill it with candles and light all the candles. And I took my 19th century prop book, which looks amazing. It's like a little wizard book, but it's really like basically a reprint of ladies' home journals of the time, which I love. I love it. It was like $5 at a used bookstore, and I just bought it because it looked amazing. But yeah, so I'm sitting in an attic space surrounded by candles reading Necromancer's book. And I was dressed in all black, but I'm always dressed in all black, so.
See, that's really The Conjuring is really Ladies' Home Journal.
It is.
It really is.
Oh my God. You have no idea how much a jelly mold can summon.
Exactly. That's the code. It's that and the Konami code. That opens the hellmouth.
The trick is the marshmallows and pineapple.
Oh my God.
Sorry, you were about to say.
No, that's the important stuff, people. We have to get to shoot 2021.
So the marshmallows will help us do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say to Madman, I finally finished Kingdom.
Oh, did you? Because I have not.
Yeah.
I am behind on a lot of things. So I'm trying to think where I stopped at. That one.
Yeah, folks, it's the Kingdom, Korean Kingdom on Netflix, the zombie apocalypse in the 15th century Korea.
Yes. Not to be confused with Kingdom, the MMA show that was on FX for a while with one of the Jonas brothers and Frank.
Grillo.
What's Frank's name? Grillo.
Yeah.
Grillo. Grillo, whatever.
Hey, the Jonas kid from Jumanji's not bad.
Yeah, he's fine.
He was good in that.
Yeah.
But no, it's 12 episodes. If you haven't watched it, knock it out. You will not be disappointed. It's hardcore.
The zombies are winning.
Yeah. Madman, see, correct me if I'm wrong. About an episode and a half into that entire series, you just go, "Oh wow, this is shit that's about to go so sideways. It's amazing."
Yeah, mm-hmm. and it goes.
It does
sideways.
not fuck around.
Like the whole fucking time. It's like, oh, I think we have a solution. No, the fuck you don't.
Oh, and it
Seriously,
really more people need to watch this because. What's that?
So not to
What were you gonna say?
segue into politics. Not to segue into
Oh.
politics, but I'm going to anyway. It is literally an inept administration pulling the strings in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and shit going sideways. If any of you are familiar with how that could happen in real life, just know they made a show about it.
Nope.
Because when I thought back about it, about what was going on in the show, I'm like, oh my God, y'all are fucking this up.
So
bad from the inside.
so it's thick of it with zombies and less swearing. Is that?
And steadier camera.
Ah, okay. Well, that
couldn't
makes a
watch thick of
difference.
it. I couldn't watch thick of it. I was getting motion sick, and I was oh shit! What was that movie that was all handheld that Cosette could not watch?
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch Project?
No. That's a good guess, but it was more recent. It was like
Paranormal?
It was like no, I can't remember.
Was that Jack Ryan? Was that the Jack Ryan movie with that was
Oh, I don't
that
know.
was Chris Pine. That was the Chris Pine.
That wasn't his
Jack Ryan
movie.
movie.
God,
Where the guy woke up with like almost like video game type powers, and he was running around shooting everything the entire time. And no, it's not John Wick.
That's not out yet, right?
There was
No, that's not out yet.
No, what the
Ryan
Free-
Reynolds one?
Yeah.
No, not Free Guy. There was another one. There was another one about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And it was
Harry.
first person, right?
Yes, it was all a first person.
Oh,
shit
like
the whole time.
Mayhem Jack or Hammer
Yeah, some mess
Mischief Mike.
Weekend Justice, the most researched podcast on the internet.
Productions by now.
It's you see, it's half pop culture, it's half password. We set the clock in the corner.
I want to be Betty
Maybe
White.
we should do.
Of course, you're Betty White.
I don't know. I kind of thought of you as a Fanny Flag. But
Chapping Jake. What's it called?
That's the porn version, but you're close.
Whoa.
Get the fluffer.
Whoa.
hey, Scott, stop it.
It was Gary Cooper.
Hardcore Henry. I was not that
There
far
you
off.
go.
I said that like 20
That
minutes
was
ago.
We couldn't hear you.
He did.
Sure, you're gonna have to use your outside voice.
Gary
What?
Cooper.
What good is correct answers here?
We live in America. There are no correct answers anymore.
But anyway, Widge,
Exactly.
was that the movie she couldn't watch?
I don't remember.
It wasn't. I don't see Widge watching Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
What was the name of the movie with the monster that shows up in Cloverfield? Was it Cloverfield?
Cloverfield.
Yeah, I guess.
He was just, like, playing password
Found
with a
footage.
80-year-old.
Cloverfield returns.
Don't remember.
It was that guy who was in that movie with the costumes that I like.
That thing. That thing.
People
That thing
died.
Remember?
They
And they
sang and
did
danced that song.
You know that one where the guy goes somewhere.
and does stuff with the people.
You
There
know,
was
that
a
other
bagel
guy.
shop, though.
And they fall in
That
love,
was-
but they don't really fall in love, and they don't stay together. But then at the end, they are.
They form a trauma bond.
Oh, don't forget that smart aleck kid you just hate.
Marmaduke? It was like Marmaduke.
Yeah, Marmaduke was shot handheld. Yeah, Marmaduke was all steady cam. Yeah.
Well, they're doing that with Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh God, I
Too
saw
soon.
I saw the character design on that. Oh no.
My
Why?
only thing about that is people were freaking out about it, and the thing is, it looks like a big dog. The problem is, It's kind of like when they took the cartoon of Scooby-Doo and made him a realistic-looking dog. Our minds don't want that to be a realistic-looking dog. They would really do better by just
We
doing
just want the cartoons. We
something
want
flat,
the Harlem
yeah.
Globetrotters all back together again, fighting Mama Cass.
From the dead, because they're all zombies.
Don't laugh, it happened.
I know. Listen. The new. I did not realize this. For years, I've been saying they should do an updated version of the new Scooby-Doo movies, which is Batman and Robin and Mama Cass and Jerry Reed, who sang "Pretty Mary Sunlight" for 15 minutes of the episode.
Yes,
but they've done it. I did not know they've done it.
Yeah, they've done it.
It's called Scooby-Doo and Guess Who.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
And they have hang on, let me pull up the
Yeah. And then
done,
they've done separate ones with Kiss and a couple of other folk.
I mean, they crank out. Let's face it, they crank out Kiss and WrestleMania cartoons every 15 fucking seconds. So
get another one out.
And
So, here you
both
go.
guys in charge are just in it for the money. So
Yeah, exactly.
Here are the
King Kong.
here's
King Kong Bundy.
here's some of the guests they've had on this
He was shouting-
Scooby-Doo
he
and
was shouting
Guess Who
Scooby
thing.
Camp.
Check this out. So Alton Brown, Steve Buscemi,
This is before he
Sandy-
got drunk, right?
Sandy Duncan
Who, Alton
again,
Brown
I
or
think.
Steve
Yeah.
Buscemi?
No, Alton Brown.
The drunk Alton Brown was
Wow.
great.
It was. Morgan Freeman, Ricky Gervais. Let's see. Mark Hamill plays the Joker and himself, and in another one, the Trickster. Let's see.
Wait, what is this?
Macklemore. This is the Scooby Doo show. I'm telling you, it is.
Okay,
They are
by the
appearing
time you
as
got to
themselves.
Scoo-
at least by the time you got to
see.
Macklemore, we finally got the D-grade celebrities that I was promised.
Now, where the hell is Ryan Lewis?
Malcolm McDowell, Penn and Teller.
Yeah, these
Let's
names are all
see.
too big.
They were in a
George
bus,
Takei.
and you had to drive it in the desert, and it never
Who's
got to
Brian
Las
Lewis?
Vegas. And
Weird Al
Huh.
Yankovic. That's grade A right there.
Wow.
Weird Al Yankovic.
So where do you find this?
Where was it? It was,
Was it Boomerang?
Internet. The internet.
yeah, Boomerang.
The
It
Google.
It
Well,
was
that's
on-
cable. That's cable.
was on
Public access
Cartoon Network, and
television.
now it's on Boomerang. So
Well,
yeah, it's got what 40 episodes. I couldn't believe
Wanda
it.
Sykes. Oh my God, I'd watch that show.
Yeah, see, it's like
All right.
it is
it's not one to
literally
cite.
and the only I think it's like Batman and Sherlock Holmes. They're like some of the only non-real people that are most of them are somebody showing up as themselves. And I said, my thing was, if Macklemore does a cover of Pretty Mary Sunlight in the episode, then that'd be amazing. You guys know the episode I'm talking about, right? Jerry Reed is stuck in the
First of
basement
all,
of this place.
Batman is a
I
real
to find
person.
him.
love that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
First of all, Batman is a
And
real
he's
person.
just
So who
saying,
the
like-
hell was the other second non-real person that was with Sherlock Holmes?
I was gonna say, I
I'm
thought
trying
we
to,
agreed.
Batman, I'm trying to provide cover here.
I thought we agreed that we weren't gonna tell Madman about that.
No, not until he's older.
Gee, thanks, guys.
Yeah, until he's older.
Here's the truth of
Fucking
it.
Santa Claus and now Batman.
There's absolutely no such thing as a billionaire that actually gives a shit about the people on the bottom. So, sorry, dude.
That is not
Well, like-
true. Jeff Bezos loves us. That's why he keeps making it easier for us to buy things.
That's how the nipples got in the bat suit. That makes so much more sense now.
Whoa.
You know, there's no Aquaman, right?
Well, of course not. I mean, a guy that talks to things. Come on.
Nah.
JJ,
Aquaman's
all I
just
can say is
But the man from Atlantis is
I-
very real.
I am going to.
I've seen Patrick Duffy. I know he's
plan
real.
to disprove the idea about a billionaire that doesn't give a shit. At the same time that I disprove the thing about you can't buy happiness. I'm like, I'll fucking lease it if I have to. It's fine.
You can buy happiness. Sounds like a poor person.
No, you can't. You can't buy happiness, and you can't hurry love. So
That is not true.
Wait.
Just have to wait.
You
Oh,
can
man, I
definitely
hate
hurry
waiting.
love because she said, "Look, you only paid for 90 minutes,
I was about to say,
so
but
you're
straight
going to need to finish."
you can pay to hurry and you can buy love. So,
That is definitely not a groovy kind of love. Let's just put it that way.
I knew that was coming. There was nothing I could do to stop it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of love when you like are fucking on a pile of 45 singles. Is that what that is?
No, that's called
Just
painful.
curious.
Wait,
Okay.
$single bills? That's on a Friday night.
Again, people have kinks. It's fine. We're just not going to judge. It's okay.
Don't bring the Kinks into this. I wouldn't ruin any of their 45 singles.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm just going to.
Well, if you had any of their 45 singles, you
Add
could
this-
go on Antiques Roadshow.
Yes.
I gotta add this to the list, to the show list. Phil Collins
it's
and
the
show
American one.
innuendo.
You know, I
Got
need
it.
to see. I need to see about taking some of my Bone records on the Antique Roadshow just to see what they do.
They'd be
Like
like,
Bone
this
Records?
is crazy.
Like
Yeah.
the
Bone?
comic book.
In St. Louis?
So, all right, I've been waiting because Rox will be excited about this. So, I bought a collection of this, but basically, in Soviet Russia, they used to burn records of American
yeah.
rock and roll and jazz onto X-rays and play them like records.
Yeah.
So you could have like a chin bone, but it's actually like Buddy Holly record. Wow. Oh,
I just bought it.
you have no idea, Rox.
And you could actually have
no
his
idea.
actual
I
chin
can
bone.
That's-
only
that's
imagine.
crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
So
look, here's Pink Floyd, but it's a bone record. Here's the Beatles, it's a bone record.
Wow.
Here's
Well, I mean, depending
And the
on where
thing
you
is-
got
the thing-
Sid Barrett, then technically it'd be both.
yeah. Well, where it gets interesting too is that there was this sort of break in the mid '70s where it started going away from like pop and jazz to just all metal. So there's just like
Yeah.
Iron Maiden or Sabbath records and stuff on like bone, and it's like this totally makes sense.
That is the most metal shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You've never heard about this?
No.
Why aren't they like release stuff on? That is like a Kickstarter waiting to happen. Is a band going? We're so metal. We're going to release our shit on an X-ray of the lead singer's
Boom.
rib cage.
Because the paper they use for X-rays has changed now. It's not the same type.
Oh, well, but you could still probably do it because they have people who are
You could
creating like single on a wax cylinder that glows in the dark and shit.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
You could just make a flexi disc.
yeah. Well, I went to an estate sale a couple weeks ago where they were selling like mountains and mountains and mountains of wax cylinders. Yeah, and someone grabbed my hand and just said, "No, let's go." Come on.
She's a smart woman.
Did you feel the pull where she just said no?
No, it's just like, no, we're good.
Okay.
Can't play that on anything.
I just bought
Wow.
my first turntable for the first time since I was like a little kid. So I have
Oh yeah.
my record
Wow.
turntable for the first time in years.
Nice.
Did you have like
You've got
Did
a
you ha-
microphone. You just need one more of those turntable thingies.
But
That'll be
Yeah.
set.
did you have like 10 people afterwards tell you bought the wrong one?
I mean, Joe, that's where it's at.
One of the
You know that, right?
beautiful things,
I know jokes. Robin Tuffley only understands.
one of the beautiful things about having to buy online is that nobody. I've enjoyed it, but and it's COVID, so nobody's come over. Nobody can judge me for it.
Okay.
Yet. Nobody's been able
You know
to
what
tell
model
me.
did you buy?
Well, see, that's the best kind because I don't even have one.
That's the
and
best kind.
it's
COVID.
fine.
COVID's the best kind.
hold
It
on,
is.
hold on. What kind did you get?
No,
Don't
you're
do
going to tell me.
Don't
I
do
fucking-
this.
Best
No,
kind.
Don't do this.
And
He got
I got-
the kind that sounds come out of.
Exactly. No, I got a sort of a mid-range. It's a Audio Technica 120.
Yeah, they're good. They're solid with like in terms of durability. That's what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what I didn't get the 60. You can't upgrade the needle on it, and everything's automatic on it. I got the one that's
Oh, that's sweet.
I got the one that's not all automatic. I wanted to be able to actually, be able to fuck with it. And it's not a belt drive; it's a direct drive.
Oh, that's even better. Generally, anything that's not made by Fisher Price is generally pretty good.
Hey, I had one of the Fisher Price cameras.
I love my Fisher Price.
Yeah. You ever tried to play a Gore record on that thing?
I wasn't. That wasn't what it came with?
It plays the same row your boat.
Now, I will tell you, I did play a Curtis Blow record on the Dorothy Hamill record player.
That's funny because I did some blow off the Fisher Price record. But I'm phone.
That's funny because I did some blow on Dorothy Hamill.
Wow!
Beat me to it. Beat me to it.
It's amazing because I got blown by Dorothy Hamill.
That was it. After that, she's like, okay, I'm coming up from here.
Hey,
there was no other.
All I can say to that, JJ, is nice job.
Yeah.
JJ,
See, but here's the
glad you got
problem,
a
and
turntable.
people at home are going to score us on this. It took us an hour to get to that.
Get the fluffer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will say my record collection right now is all of 4 records, so it is horribly pitiful. But I also
What are they?
What
are they? You really want to be judged?
Your 4 records.
No, I'm happy
People.
with my 4, but the thing is, I bought it right before the holidays, so it's that thing where you're not really allowed to buy anything for yourself. So I got to wait. Like I really, really want
It's COVID.
I really want the remaster of Ace of Spades, but I'm waiting.
Okay,
Oh,
JJ, send me a list
that's
of what
nice.
you really want on vinyl, and I will email record label people I know and see if I can get you some.
Well, the 4. So if you
Just email me. Just email me because we'll be here for hours.
Okay, but the 4 records that I have in my collection so far are Red-Headed Stranger by Willie Nelson, Run the Jewels 4.
Okay, say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave Brubeck Essential Collection.
Oh,
And I got the reissue remaster of Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, okay, nice.
I have to
That's
say,
all quality.
that's if the bomb comes, you're set.
Yeah, for 4 records, it's not bad.
It's no Fisher Price album, but
Okay, so let's talk about
No
headphones.
Gore. These are Bose noise
Oh,
canceling.
those are good too. Again, you're a Renaissance man. You
Well,
are, as they say, a connoisseur.
I'm someone who was broke for a long time, and now I
So
have a
JJ,
job.
are you gonna
give
go?
up.
Are you gonna hit like estate sales and thrift stores?
Oh,
Are you
no.
gonna be that guy?
I have
Secondary,
to, I have
secondary
to-
market.
well, you live in Portland. There's like a record store every 3 feet,
Yeah.
isn't there?
exactly, and I also
Seriously,
want
I think by law.
to do whatever. I used to have when I was younger and had a record player, like when I was 8 or 9, and this is telling you my record or my music taste when I was a little kid. But I used to have a huge Tom Jones collection, and I would like to get my.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with
I love
that.
Tom Jones.
Oh,
I saw
have
Tom Jones. It was amazing.
It's not that unusual.
I have 2.
Now, how much?
Now you had a better start than I had
Somebody
because
had
when I
to.
had records, the first couple I got were like Cinderella and Bon Jovi. Exactly.
God, I'm trying to think of the first vinyl I owned.
I never
Oh my
saw
God.
it, but I will
I
tell
tell
you,
you.
Cinderella is the reason why I wear earplugs at concerts to this
Yeah.
day, because I went to a Cinderella concert and it just fucked my hearing up, and I was like, no,
Wow.
I am not going deaf for this shit.
I mean, like the records I had, like starting out, and this is weird. I had like Bon Jovi. I had Slippery and Wet. I had Cinderella Night Songs. Thank you, Rob. I had the record that was the recording of War of the Worlds.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, they just wrote the
Orson Welles?
video thing for.
Yeah, the Orson Welles one.
Oh, the Wells one,
nice.
with the musical.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think, and this
Nice.
was my mom's. It was one of the Olivia Newton-John country records.
Oh man, those things are
Wow.
weird.
And I don't know why I had a couple of those, but
So mine
but
was.
I'll take the blame for Bon Jovi and Cinderella. But there you go.
Everybody.
So
has
other
them.
than my
Exactly.
mom's weird collection of Boston Pops classical stuff and whatever, ELO's Face the Music.
Yeah.
Oh, did you play it
Kiss.
backwards? Wait, did you play it backwards?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Did you smoke
Yes.
marijuana after you played it backwards?
No,
She was a kid.
I was a kid.
Should
That's not. Hey, that it
Shouldn't you
happened.
do that the other way around?
I was 7,
Listen,
so
listen.
I think we were like we bought. I think we had Queen, the first album.
I spent a lot of quality time in my youth watching the backmasking videos from churches, and that
Nice.
was the list of records you get.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh.
Who was the guy late at night? Oh, Ankerberg.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Jay
yeah,
Leno.
yeah, yeah.
No,
Dave Letterman.
no.
Gary something.
He was on Saturday.
It was
John
Gary.
Ankerberg.
what's his name?
And
Gary.
no, it wasn't. But he went after the backmasking, the Masons.
Oh,
He made
yeah.
the tapes. He made
That
the,
guy.
He made the video tapes.
See, it was weird because
Yeah.
I had like some of my dad's old jazz stuff and my brother's classical records and his Judy Garland at Carnegie Hall record. And
wow.
Nice.
yeah, and then a ton of really frightening, like late disco records that I didn't understand why he had them until later. And then first batch of records I bought was Jesus and Mary Chain, Psycho Candy, Echo and the Bunnymen Crocodiles, The Smiths' Hatful of Hollows, Sgt. Pepper, and The Wall.
Huh.
And it was basically a girl took me to a record store and said, "Take these," and I said, "Okay."
How old were you though?
14.
Okay. All right. So
When I was
like 5, dude. Like
Thanks.
so every other Friday. So where I lived at in Montclair, New
Let's
Jersey.
see, 84. It was 84.
Yeah. Where we lived, there was there was Flip's record store right next to the barber shop. So every 2 weeks, my mom would take me to get a haircut, and then we would go in and buy like a 45. So like even like probably age 5, dude. I remember going in and like buying a Michael Jackson 45, like a single.
3 Dog
right?
Night.
Right, and then my dad, like my mom would have like Quincy Jones, The Dude, is one of the earliest like actual pieces of vinyl that I can remember. But the other thing is, my older brother's 10 years older than me. So when hip hop first started, I was then living in the middle of nowhere here in Georgia on my great grandparents' farm. But in the back room, my brother had 2 turntables and a realistic mixer, and my cousins from New Jersey would send records down for him to practice with. But also, like in Athens, they had a Turtles. Wait, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
man, I forgot about turtles.
Wait,
Right.
Happy Together Turtles?
No, the
Yes.
real turtles.
I got some turtles in a pond back here.
I saw a
I
Turtles
like
band the
Turtles.
other day.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, a Turtles Records van.
Well, you know the guy
They
was
used to have those, the
Yeah,
little
they
VW
had those.
things.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
was all over the news. He just got busted selling a bunch of illegal turtles that were endangered. This is on the news tonight.
Yeah.
But because of that, so my brother used to buy all of these 12-inch singles because in order to scratch and do everything else and learn how to DJ that way, you had to have duplicate copies. So he would spend like entire paychecks on a Friday. Whatever came in the Turtles that was hip hop related or B related, what have you, we'd grab it. Because at that time, music took, let's say, I remember Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One. They released
yeah.
9mm, and the only reason I heard it, it was on a tape at our family reunion in Virginia that my cousins from New Jersey and New York had brought down, and we all copied it, listened to it, whatever. But then that took the actual album and any kind of airplay for that. It was still almost another year here in Atlanta before it even reached here, and that's how hip hop, like in music, used to like kind of just be such a gap where, we would hear it because we've got family back home in the Northeast, but you wouldn't hear any of that on the radio or anywhere near that in a skating rink, wherever here, for a good 6 to 8 months, and that's being generous.
Oh, and that was like that. That's like the early Epitaph stuff where only people in California had it, and they'd had to sneak it out. Like the early Bad Religion stuff, you'd have to get it from people who actually live there. Same thing. It's great.
I also had a sibling that was about 10 years older than me, and so we were living in LA around the time that she handed over her record collection that she was done with to me, and it was nothing but like Circle Jerks and
oh wow,
and
they're reissuing all those.
A lot of Black Flag, a lot of Dead Kennedys. So yeah, but the funny thing is, at the time, that part of my brain had not blossomed yet. So I was still, I was a Beatles, Monkees, Kingston Trio kid. And so I had all this shit that just sat there for a long time until one day I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. I just wasn't ready for it yet. Well, my dad gave me my first records when I was, when I remember kind of coming into consciousness, whatever fucking age that is when you start to remember shit. My dad bought a collection of 45s after Elvis died that was every single that he'd ever released.
Ooh.
And so he held that to me until I was old enough to appreciate it. And then he also gave me the soundtrack to Star Wars, which I didn't appreciate as much as a kid because I was like, this isn't Star Wars, this is classical music.
Wow.
Well, since we're sharing,
Yeah.
the records that I remember first constantly playing was Robin Williams, what was it? Reality, What a Concept.
Oh yeah.
Kenny Rogers, The Gambler.
No.
And Rick Springfield's
Working Class Dog.
Yeah, Working Class Dog.
Yep.
Those were the ones I
Everybody on
remember.
that.
The first one I remember buying though was Thriller. So
Yeah.
and then immediately moving on to like things like Queensryche and
So did
whatever-
anybody
whatever.
ever get like, just trying it out? Because I used to get albums out of our library, and
I would
we
get
had a really cool librarian that would get all sorts of really cool stuff.
Yep.
So you can sample it and stuff and go, oh yeah, that's really.
Nice.
And I was at an age, it's like that, the library punky kid. It's like, oh, just send her away with this,
Ma'am, this is the
So-
South. We only had the Righteous Brothers in our library.
There was the I would get records based on the cover.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even know who the
Asia,
band.
man.
Yeah,
Asia,
exactly.
the album for
Yeah.
yeah.
It sold that album sold to more people that had black lights than any other album.
Yep.
It's kind of like album roulette. Oh, the
But
cover looks cool. That's a
Yes.
start. Go.
Yeah.
But it does hold up, kind of.
Well, I
I did
remember
that with Jefferson's Starship, but it had Papa
Ooh.
John Creech in it. And that was I forgot, Red Octopus? Is that one? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
right,
the
Rob?
one where all of the
Yeah.
airplane people were still on it, but
Yeah,
then
that is
it's the only
great
one that all the
album.
airplane people are on under
Yeah.
the Starship name.
Yep. And that's
I-
I like that one. I like that
I
one.
once bought one of my favorite albums just based on, I'd never heard of the band before. The album had just come out that week. I bought it because it had an interesting album cover and they covered the song War Pigs, and I was a big Sabbath fan. And that's how I discovered Faith No More.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I would constantly
You
buy
made an
stuff because it
excellent
had
choice
cool
that
cover
night.
art. But yeah, what it's I was trying to think what the first vinyl I bought. Remember, I know my dad's record collection was. I remember it primarily being Beatles, and then jazz like Dave Brubeck, Miles Davis, Milt Jackson, Modern Jazz Quartet, that kind of thing, which got me hooked on that stuff early. And he had a
Was
bunch.
Zappa your dad?
No,
Was Zappa your
No,
dad,
I
or was
came-
that later? Okay.
no, that was much much later. I came to Zappa.
Okay.
I came to Zappa backwards, basically.
Okay.
I came to Zappa through. I bought the Zappa's Universe live album from the used record store, the record store
Okay.
basically that I would go to by the college, and
I
that's
thought
how
he
I
was
found Zappa.
I thought he was asking if Zappa was actually your dad.
That would have been very interesting.
There are lawsuits about that.
But no, but my dad had other random stuff. He found out that I had basically pulled out the album, was it something I said way earlier than I should have? And so handed me Brother David Gardner instead, which was a little less profane.
I love that album.
But I still,
by the way,
what's that?
I said I love that guy. By
Madman,
the way,
what was that?
Oh, I love that guy.
What, Pryor
Brother
or
Dave
Gardner? Oh God,
Gardner.
he's fucking hilarious. Yes, he is.
They
He is
still play
hilarious.
him on Sirius's comedy channel.
Yeah,
They will go through certain. They will go through certain periods where they're playing all of that, and so he gets definitely thrown into the mix a lot.
Nice. Yeah, he did. If anybody doesn't know Brother Dave Gardner, I would say find his. Probably you can find it on YouTube where somebody's posted it, of his version of Julius Caesar as performed by the Down Home Players. He was a Southern comedian who was actually funny. He would say stuff like, I don't believe the North is actually there. I believe it is just south of Canada. He was great. But yeah, I still have a soft spot in my heart for that Richard Pryor album, because I believe that's the one that has the funeral oration on it. His famous "We Are Gathered Here Today" speech. Which, if you don't know it, for God's sake, Google it. Pause the podcast and go find it.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
you're driving.
Since I used to babysit like in through my neighborhood, and other people had record collections, I'd go through, on a Saturday night if it was a really bad Love Boat episode. And so that's where I found like Creedence Clearwater Revival, Seeger, the Weavers and stuff, because I had hippie neighbors down the way. Then one neighbor that was more fusion funk, and then there was Bonnie would have she had Little Richard, she had some of the Stones, so she had a really good array of albums and stuff. Her house, you would have to play albums just to keep the ghost away. so you had to play it really loud, so it's like, play the music so we don't hear the ghost. Okay, kids, there's no ghost here. And then my sister comes.
Well, I know that when I'm a ghost, I'm not going anywhere near people with bad records. So
that's not true. All those houses are haunted.
If I've got to haunt somebody, just please, for the love of God, be somebody who can listen to new music, because I get tired of the music I know. Just constantly wanting new music. So that's all I ask for, is just when I die, my ghost haunts somebody.
Well, I plan on dying over at Publix, so I know everything will be on rotation. So,
yes, because eventually
we'll
play the Ramones.
It's my goal. I want to be the ghost of Publix, helping people find both.
You will be in the grocery store, and the Ramones comes on, and you're like, oh God!
Again.
I once said that. I once said that about Grandpa Pigeons, and they went under. So cross your heart, cross your fingers.
Nice.
There's a BOGO on ice cream.
Well, Trader Joe's doesn't count because
Maybe I'd be able to sneak in and change the channels or something.
I'd be afraid that I would die at a Publix or something, and then they would tear it down and build a fucking Margaritaville.
Oh God!
Thanks. You ruined my afternoon.
JJ, I'm not allowed to go anywhere. Please don't do that to me.
That's just my personal hell.
Okay.
My plan originally, JJ, for you.
Yes,
was to move your ghost to It's a Small World, but I think the Margaritaville is a better idea.
No, that's
yes, but
awful.
That's like,
you realize, for all we know, they have actually done that, since none of us can leave the house.
That's true.
Even now, that song is stuck in my fucking
Really? Are you guys on lockdown? We're not. We're free reign.
We're in Florida. We're allowed to do whatever the hell we want.
No,
because everything's a suggestion.
So
we're licking palm trees over here.
No, I'm isolated till the 7th.
And this is the part of the podcast where they're
you're legitimately isolated.
Yeah, Janet tested positive,
Yeah.
so I can't go anywhere till the 7th.
Wow.
She's fine.
get
Her last day was yesterday. She's like,
Yeah.
but she's
Okay.
still staying in.
She checked out. She left. She's out. She's out at AMC right now.
Was she okay?
Yeah, the only
Watching
thing
Janet,
she
she's
really
got antibodies.
Quiet. Quiet.
She's watching 70 millimeter.
This is the real science segment of Weekend Justice that you cannot hear. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah.
No, so I had like a cold sinus thing or something going on, and I talked to my doctor, and he's like, "You got body aches. You need to call your doctor and probably get tested." So I went and I made an appointment for a Thursday. I'm like, I'm not waiting around for 4 fucking days. So I found another place I could get in that day. So I went and got that one, and I went with Janet to get tested on that Thursday. This is like 3 weeks ago. So then, great. I got both of my tests back negative. Great. We don't hear anything. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So then that following Monday, Janet got a call that she tested positive. So that started both our clocks. So her 10-day clock ended on the 30th, and my 2-week clock ends on Pearl Harbor Day. So I had to go last week and get tested twice. So, but yeah, the big thing she had was just fatigue and being exhausted, which otherwise is known as being married to me. Yeah, and so basically that's been it. Like Thanksgiving was just insane. So.
Wow.
No, I'll totally take just tired and exhausted, and
Yeah.
but I've tested negative 4 times.
Oh wow.
And yeah, because the first time when she got it, I didn't. I'm like, okay, what the hell is this all about? So yeah. So no, I can't actually leave anywhere.
Portland's never left phase 1, so we've never been open again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been in phase 1 for almost a year. In fact, cases here are we're not as bad as a lot of states, but we're starting
we made it to 1 million.
We're fine.
We're number 1. Well, technically, we're number 3 in that case.
Yeah,
but
We are number 3.
We're number 3 with a rocket. Bullet.
But yeah, we're starting to have like 1,500, 1,600 cases a day now. So we went into what they called a 2-week pause, which ends Wednesday, and our governor's put out new rules that are kind of just fucking crazy. They're like,
yeah, ours has no rules. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, we just, for us, it's like, well, this is open kinda, and this is kind of open, but she's buckling under economic pressure.
Yeah.
So it's like restaurants can have as many people as they want as long as they're outside.
they just they just today shut down the indoor dining, and all the ICUs are full. So they are looking at the old football stadium. They're looking at like old schools. It's like,
yeah, and then and for me, where I work, we had. So I work in public transit, and we had between Saturday and Tuesday was when they stopped the count because of everybody in the office took Thanksgiving off, but we had 13 positive cases for operators. So yeah, it's now starting to hit. It's starting to hit it's hitting where I live. So. And we still can't enforce people to wear masks on transit. So
yeah, here you have to. Here they won't. The drivers won't stop and the buses have a thing crossing. You must wear a mask.
Oh, we have it on there, but we are told that we have to just go. Now, don't do that. You wear a mask, and if they say no, you just have to.
Oh no, I'm
refused.
Yeah, I have to go back to work next week, and that's going to be. I was hell
think
before
basically the only thing that you have to do that is going to have to happen. Because people aren't going to stop, because isn't going to die soon enough to save the rest of us. Because that's the only way they'll actually believe that this is actually happening. Because apparently, multiple times on Twitter, I'm seeing nurses talk about how people with their dying breath are saying, "This can't be happening. This isn't real. This is a hoax."
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm like.
Do you want to talk to your mom? No.
Yeah, I want to bitch and complain about it. But I'm like, sign a waiver that says you understand that because you are endangering yourself willingly and potentially other people, you are at the back of the queue for medical help, and not just in your region, like in the country. Like if somebody else in Oklahoma needs a ventilator before you, that sucks to be you because you are basically being reckless. And my hope is that if they see, oh, wait, you mean there are consequences? They'll shut the fuck up and go home. But otherwise, I'm like, look, yeah, you're free to kill yourself. I believe in that. But you're just not free to take anyone with you, buddy.
They'll just come back with guns and complain.
Yeah.
No, they'll only come back with guns and complain if they're white. Come on.
See, the thing
I'd like to talk to the manager.
You're applying tech support rules to this, and I appreciate that. That's if you do something stupid, you're going to the back of the queue.
Well, but I mean, there's a big difference between the back of the queue tech support and back of the queue, as in basically, if there's a decision about who needs to live and die, I'm basically volunteering to be the one who dies.
Did you not wear a mask and you coughed on somebody? Okay, go back to the queue.
Yeah.
I did find out, according to the news, that I am, because of what I do for a living, I am the second wave of priority to get.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after people in nursing homes and physicians. So
did they start your database yet? They got one here.
No, not yet.
Oh, it's like the only thing we've done right.
Yeah, and Madman, as far as them showing up with guns, I'm, based on how they handle guns. First of all, there's a 20% chance they'll kill themselves first, and I don't think they know how to use them, and they don't think anybody else knows how to use them too. So, actually, I would actually
know how to use them.
love for them.
They know how to use them.
Well,
They
they're really good
definitely know
in
how to
Call
use
of Duty, so that translates in the real world, right?
That's
that?
not exactly true, right? So remember, I'm definitely the pro gun guy of the group that goes shooting and follows all of the groups.
I have an Enfield.
I'm pro gun as well.
Really?
I'm a big fan.
I thought you'd have like one of those elephant guns.
No.
One of those. He's talking to Rocks.
I was really
Rocks used to hunt elephants.
I was really good with duck hunt.
The guy on fucking Bullwinkle that used to go hunting all the time. That Rocks knows that guy.
I figured out the trick in duck hunt so that if you shoot at a certain corner of the screen, you hit everything.
Direct
exactly.
I worked with a guy that made sure his Intellivision never broke. I swear to God, I worked with a guy who made sure his Intellivision, this is up to 3 years ago, never broke so he could always play duck hunt.
Holy shit. That is hardcore. I respect that. I mean, it's insane, but I respect
By
that.
now,
and Matt,
I think I would hate all dogs if I had to play duck hunt for that long. Just like every dog on the planet.
Yeah.
No, he wanted to be a sniper, and he hurt his leg and couldn't be, so he liked playing duck hunt.
I did. So a couple Christmases ago, we went to the.
Did he ever consider moving up to Area 51? Because
Time splitters, something.
seriously. Like, even Revolution X, the Aerosmith game. I mean, fuck.
Yep, there you go. Shoot a CD.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Although
I'm not really sure you understood the concept of technology.
Although, technically, I don't understand why you didn't get points for shooting the drummer. But that's fine.
Which drummer?
I think it's Jerry. Is it Jerry Kramer? Is it Jerry Kramer from Aerosmith? There was a thing where you got points for shooting him.
Now, I would like to say before we get too far away from it,
Madman was trying to make a point.
Yeah, before we get too far away from it, like, first of all, I do, and I know that you are someone who takes great care in the fact that you are a gun owner. So
but I also follow all of the groups and what have you, and go shooting with various people or shoot around various people. And I got to tell you, there's a misnomer there that they don't know how to handle their guns or what have you, and they'll likely shoot themselves. The truth is, you've got a lot of like outliers in all of that are more than willing to actually shoot somebody. Right? We're still sitting here, months later, dealing with this whole Kyle Rittenhouse fallout. Right, where the kid shot somebody. So I'm always very, very cautious with how we paint the brush with that, because I'm like, no, these people still will screw up and shoot people. These are the same people that tried to kidnap Governor Whitmer and had a plan for them. Not say they will get stopped, but it's like, I'm not going to minimize that threat.
Right. I mean, you and I had a conversation about this on Twitter actually fairly recently. You were talking about people at an open carrying at a protest where it was illegal, and I was talking to you about somebody who was over a protest here recently that was holding a rifle that they were aiming at citizens with their finger on the trigger. And the cop, and it was right outside the police station. The cops did nothing.
Right, and that in and of itself, that is absolutely illegal. And that's the thing we're talking about, where I'm like, no, that shit should have been enforced in the first place. Because so my wife works downtown, right outside the Capitol. And I can tell you, there was a day where she left work where she was absolutely terrified. She was like, there are people down here with guns at the Capitol, pissed at the governor. I am leaving work. Because normally she will walk during lunch and what have you. And she's like, nope. I'm getting out of here. I don't feel comfortable and I do not feel safe. And I'm like, I don't blame you. Get out of here. Come home.
Well, and just to be clear, that's 1% chance. I just know that they're the way they handle their guns is ridiculous. I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're not going to fucking shoot somebody. Because that just means they're more likely to shoot somebody. Because my understanding is you don't on the trigger unless you are planning to actually shoot somebody. So, I take them seriously from that standpoint. I just don't know. I think that a good portion of the people over on that side of the political spectrum that's doing them a kindness to talk about them being political at all. I think for the most part, they are bullies. And the one thing I know about bullies is, and I've said this multiple times, when they go low, we go high. I'm like, that only works to a certain extent, but before you realize that going high means that they have the perfect angle to punch you in the balls. And they will do that repeatedly until you realize that you have the perfect angle to kick them in the fucking face. And generally with bullies, one good kick to the fucking face will shut them down because they just enjoy the being in power and the idea that they don't have leverage or power. They don't really operate well in that environment. So my hope is that, if we have some idiots like that they, do something stupid that allows for real law enforcement, not the people who, obviously from JJ's description, I was just sitting here thinking, well, if they were pointing guns at people and they had their finger on the triggers and no one said anything, they were obviously white. Some real law enforcement to do something about it.
Because we are in Portland, we are infested with out-of-state Proud Boys.
Well, look, not for nothing. Portland's infested with being founded as a white supremacist haven built into its history. So
I'm not.
When anything's kind of sewn into the very fabric of your being, it's like,
Our history on racial relations in Portland is horrid. The fact that
Yeah, that's the whole country.
Yeah, but I mean, like, again, yeah, like he said, Oregon was specifically
Founded.
was founded as a white supremacist sort of haven. Also, the fact that there was just I don't know exactly when the Rose Quarter was built, but it was specifically built in the quote unquote black part of town. So everybody had to move out of that sort of downtowny area so we could put that big fucking stadium there. So yeah, we have a horrible history here, and so yeah, again, of course, I acknowledge that, but it's odd in the fact that because this is also a place that attracts people that don't feel that way, and so and there certainly the younger people here don't feel that way, and they're very vocal about it. So yeah, the Cowboys specifically from Washington and Idaho just love to flood in here and try to make the news and stuff.
It seems like this year we've identified who the jerks are.
I don't know about this year. We've identified
I'm not
our entire existence on my side of
Oh, yeah.
things.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I think they're
just
being.
that
Go
they're
ahead,
being that they're being actually out front about it. The quiet, they're saying the quiet thing loudly. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's all Archie Bunker all the time.
yeah, but
Oh God, it's so accurate.
Yeah.
it just the unrelenting. We've identified who the jerks are continually. It's just
That's the thing, is that I have been a big fan of people who will come right out and demonstrate in some way what an asshole they are.
Yes.
It's like, I'm like, listen, thank you for saving me the time to actually delve and figure out that you're a fuckwit that I don't want to deal with. I mean, thank you for that. You've saved me hours of my life, and you are free to go about your business, and I will give you a wide berth. Enjoy. So, yeah, it's like, you know, people complain about Trump bumper stickers. I'm like, don't complain.
No.
Be grateful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is exactly how I feel about any of that iconography, whether it's the rebel flag or anything else. I'm like, nope. I prefer my racism old school and out in the open, right?
Yes.
It's like, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, what was the joke earlier that was dropped like a week ago? It's like, man, now we can get back to our casual racism the way I'm used to.
Yeah, we can
That was a real thing somebody said.
that was funny. No.
We can have those strange conversations that white people sometimes have where the person that you've known for a long time just drops some horribly stereotypical thing just like it's nothing, and you're like, who the fuck are you?
Oh, you mean my in-laws?
Oh,
you mean all my in-laws?
Wait,
oh God.
You
So
think
a lot
there's a
of my-
difference in anatomy? What the fuck? Extra
Yeah.
vertebrae where?
Yeah, I have lots of relatives from all over the South, and
That.
it can be awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
There's one guy in particular that I just basically blocked him on Facebook because he was such a complete fuckwit, and I am looking forward to the next family reunion so I can just grin at him from across the room and see if he wants to start something.
Is
You know, there
that
was
why
a
you blocked
time.
me?
Well, John, I wasn't. John, first of all, we're not related, and if we are, we need to have a conversation because that's news to me. And second, I would
I
feel
think
badly
Lee
for
would beg to
you.
differ.
What's that?
I said I think Lee would beg to differ. No, God.
It's no offense, John. It's just that you got caught by the Florida man filter.
Ooh, Florida man.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Oh, that used to be every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, by the way, Rox, good
you
job
would
on
wait
turning
for the- you
Jacksonville
would-
blue.
Yeah.
You would wait for the awkward silence when a family member lets rip something that's just casual.
God, yeah.
Oh, you mean like the time I went out by the pool and then something was said and I just said, fuck this, and walked right back into the house and closed the door while I was in Florida? I was like, literally, I walked out. Yeah, Trump's gone. I was like, man, fuck this.
Yeah. But yeah.
Although it does amuse me when relatives of mine will not even from a racism standpoint or a Trump standpoint, from me saying fuck a lot. That a great aunt will want to follow me on Facebook, and I'll be like, okay,
get ready.
I don't know if you notice this, but every once in a while I do put content warnings up about things I post. Just like, hey, by the way, random family members, I say this a lot. Yeah.
You're nice.
Here's my answer to everything at this point. When anyone says anything about morality or anything else and going on, I can't believe you believe in blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you voted for grab them by the pussy. I moved on her like a bitch.
Yeah, and in my case, the family's all dead, and everybody else has met me, so I don't think anybody has any problems.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Right? That just cut the entire conversation off. I can't believe y'all. Hey, grab him right by the pussy. What? I'm like, enough for your president.
That's terrible.
I'm gonna move on you like a bitch.
That's not the one I meant to hit. I meant to hit the one next to it. Those two probably should.
Yeah.
These two probably should not be next to each other. Here we go. From left to right.
Pussy.
So there we go.
Oh
Did really God. Sound like you were just giving me.
You were trying to inject the gem theme? The hell?
He always is trying to inject.
John,
yes,
that is a euphemism.
Yeah.
Look, when you're rich, they just let you do it.
Oh man. Yeah.
We've been here for 5 hours. You want to do introductions now?
Oh, I suppose we could.
Happy belated birthday, Aaron.
Since we've explored the darkness, let's just do an introduction. That's good.
Right. Happy
Tuffley,
birthday,
you cannot refer to me as the darkness, okay? That's not acceptable.
Hey, listen, it's you and Mike Patton. So
wait, are you saying you don't believe in a thing called love?
Exactly.
What about a crazy little thing called love?
I will say happy birthday to Aaron because I think he can finally, even in Ireland.
Yes.
Yes. Our little Aaron.
Oh.
He's growing up. All right, so we'll do introductions for the fuck. Hang on, let me make a note of when we're doing it so I can find it later.
You do realize this makes us all way older.
1:43 by my clock, Widge.
It says 1:37 on my clock.
1:37 on the live clock, Widge.
1:37.49.
What? I thought there would be no math.
1:37.50.
Just remember,
it's 1:43.20 now, Widge.
Do I hear 1:50?
Santa will be at the end.
Sold. All right, so we'll do it.
Worst prices right ever.
And we'll do them starting now. Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Weekend Justice. It's the Weekend Justice podcast here on needcoffee.com, the #1 audio internet train wreck, coming to you still from the bunkers in the Hall of Weekend Justice, where we're all locked up in our own particular bubble. I'm going to introduce the Weekend Justice League, who are here with me, and I'm going to do it from my right to your left. We have Rox with us. Hi, Rox.
Oh my God, I'm first! Yeah! I'm never first. This is the first.
Well,
you're always first in our hearts.
Yes, I know. She is. And Tuffley is with us. Hi, Tuffley.
This is the last one, right?
No, there's other introductions after you.
Ah, okay. So
like
I bid $1.
Hi, JJ.
I bid $1.
Hi, JJ.
I am not Gary Cole.
That's good. I'm glad we established that early on. Also, Rob is with us. Hi, Rob.
What's up?
What's up? And the original Madman is with us. Hi, Madman.
Fuck, I need to call my agent. Why are we fucking doing this show again? Like, I didn't even get my fucking dressing room.
Brady.
Oh, hey, how's it going, everybody? Are we live? Wait.
We're live! And that brings us to John. Oh, good Lord, there he is. Jump the gun a little bit.
As usual.
But I've heard that's
It's a problem I have. It's been a struggle. It's a lifelong problem.
I know. I understand.
I feel for
We all have
my wife.
crosses to bear.
It's the search for the correct button. That's always the key.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh my God.
You know, the rumor is if it was labeled, some people still can't find it.
Hey!
Is that why you blocked me?
Oh my God.
You know, Facebook's gonna Facebook, so
it's true. So did everyone have a good second Halloween? Since that's my avatar here.
It was okay.
It was,
I worked.
It was another day. I didn't get to go anywhere or do anything.
Did you get holiday time pay?
It was just fucking weird.
I got time and a half. I deferred the holiday pay to get a day off later.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
See, that's always the plan. That's always good.
So we had wildlife show up at our Thanksgiving.
Did you actually have a turkey show up?
Did you
No, we had one of the Keystone State type of creatures, which is known as the gopher tortoise in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So Mitchell's dad's been feeding this tortoise has like made a home in his vast backyard.
So basically, like some relatives, a turtle showed up and wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a video, and please do not let the fish and wildlife people know it exists because his dad's like feeding him apple and stuff.
Oh, all of those guys love the show. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They'll listen.
Take that tortoise away. So they're endangered. They are relevant for Florida wildlife. That, like during fires and stuff, animals will go into this poor little creature's little hole and everything, and so they're called a keystone creature wildlife. That from that other animals can survive. So
right.
As long as there's gopher tortoises. Go ahead.
So that means keystone that the gopher tortoises will run around and like smack into each other when they're trying to get anything done, right? Hit each other with ladders.
And they know where the hidden national treasure is too.
Oh.
For the Mason.
Well, don't tell Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's right. So that was interesting because we ate outside, and that was a first for two people, and keeping.
Wait, people had never eaten outside. Ever?
Yeah, for a holiday. Sure. Yeah. So
for a holiday. Okay.
In a world gone mad, two people discovered.
It is. It's like, why don't we just eat outside? And his dad's like, I've never done that. That's just kind of weird. Mitchell's like, I think that'll work. And I'm like, it'll work. It'll be fine.
In the year 2020, you'll believe that Rox and Spaz House invented dining al fresco.
That's right. We did it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And the tortoise came out. It's like, there's food. People are eating out here. This is where I dine. What's the matter? Holy crap. It's got crowded out here.
So, yeah, we cleared off the dining room table and had Thanksgiving in the dining room. Me and Cosette and Jen was just like, what are you doing in here? You don't come in here except to work on jigsaw puzzles, and you only come in here to eat if there's a bunch of other people at a party and they're all eating, and you're not dropping anything. What the hell is happening? You people are weird. And then she would go back and lie down and be like, "Oh, fuck it."
Yeah, in a very 2020 turn of events, we invited a friend over that's kind of in our extended circle to come over for Thanksgiving dinner. But the day before Thanksgiving, they got an email saying they were exposed to COVID and had to go into quarantine.
Oh God!
Wow.
Shite.
We actually did invite somebody over. We actually did have our first Thanksgiving together. Just us, because we usually go. We're usually
you go to the Lee.
Yeah, we usually go over.
Thanksgiving-a-thon.
Yeah, we usually always go over to somebody else for Thanksgiving.
Extravaganza.
Yeah. So for the first time, we did our. Well, I'll say we did our own Thanksgiving, but we ordered a restaurant. We ordered from a restaurant, but
Doesn't
still,
matter.
That counts. That counts.
But it counts. Okay.
Does.
I had family was going. Oh, that doesn't count. Well, I didn't cook.
Counts.
Fine. It counts.
It fucking counts. I didn't cook
counts.
either.
We
I came
got-
home in my room.
Exactly.
Counts.
I went and
I
picked
cooked
up.
it all.
I went and picked up mashed potatoes because you've got like some weird like cooking mutant power that you've activated.
Yeah.
On Madman's Facebook, he's just like, yeah. So I
Oh
just
my
whipped this up in the last 15 minutes, and it's like, holy shit! What the? Where did you even get Wild Boar? You know?
Well, see, he's cooking. Kim's like drawing.
Yeah.
Everybody's picking up talents. I feel bad because I barely learned how to play Animal Crossing. This is all I've done in quarantine.
Oh no, Tuffley, you're the only one in the world that didn't do a skill
So,
in
I know,
2020.
right?
So we were in the yeah, exactly.
He
All right,
did develop a skill. It's called stay employed.
Who's got
I
the
was gonna say, I have a new skill. I can make it
sourdough
work.
bread down?
Well, okay, I did that too, but
I worked through the entire thing. The only time that I had off, I had a vacation in June and spent half of that vacation in the hospital. So, no thanks. I have a vacation starting next week, though.
Yeah, so ours was weird because we had Thanksgiving ordered, but we couldn't go get it. So
Did you get somebody to deliver?
So we had a friend of ours made made some
Somebody
stuff and
let
brought
Kim
it.
in. Kim,
Yeah, let
look
her
at
in.
the chat.
Let her for God's sake. Her
Kim
tough
wants
will
to be
never
let
get
in.
So a friend of ours was going like basically we generally will like because I eat turkey and Janet doesn't, so she gets like a huge ass thing of mac and cheese, and we actually order that and then generally build around it and make stuff. So the stuff that she got ordered, a friend of ours was going to the same place and they went and picked it up for us and brought it over, and then
Left it outside.
I met him on the porch and we handed it off. Yeah, and then I added on to it and made some extra stuff to go with it. And then, but it was weird because so Janet was in the living room with the tray table, and then I was across in the dining room with a tray table, and then we had the back door open,
exchanging glances, macaroni and cheese, but there's no romance there.
So yeah, the back door open. Yeah.
Overcooked the bread.
Oh, we got a Kim.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
hey, I know you.
I'm not turning on my camera though because I haven't washed my hair. So
Hey, me neither.
imagine.
Yeah, Rob feels you.
I haven't either. It's fine.
I washed enough hair for probably all of us this morning. So.
I'm wearing a
Yeah.
Hawkeye t-shirt. I'm sure you're all shocked.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I
Get
am.
out. You are
I
not.
have so few of those.
I also
Yeah,
kind
I
of live in with my hero shirt, so hey.
I mean, I'm at the point now where I accidentally just have fandoms all over me every time I get dressed at this point. Like, I will sometimes look down and I'll realize, oh, I'm wearing Avengers leggings and a Wonder Woman t-shirt and a Mass Effect hoodie. Because those are just like the clothes I have now. Especially because
nothing wrong with that.
I don't go to the office anymore since March. So, it's just leggings and t-shirts and hoodies and shit every day.
Oh
Oh
my!
my.
But
my,
I'm sewing, so I'm gonna have cool clothes whenever I have a place to wear them again.
Nice. Yeah, with my geek tattoos, I'm always branded, so I get you.
So you've like on your third skill that you've picked up during this.
Kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like that all the time, though. Is the thing.
You're like your own RPG. You're upgrading yourself and changing jobs.
No, okay. You know how in
and your skill wheel is improving.
You know how in Skyrim you would just max out everything, all of the skills eventually because
no.
That's me. Like that's me. Like, I get bored of things. I have ADHD and I get bored of things, so I hop between hobbies. Like I'll just be in a mode where I'm super into doing something for a while, and I'll do it a lot, and then I'll be like, oh, it's time to do something different for a while. But then I'll go back. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the mood to knit again. And then I'm like, I was quilting really a lot for a while, and then I got into doing clothes for a while, and I did a couple clothes. And then I got into trying to learn to sew my own bras, which is a whole nother thing.
Wow.
That sounds
I would think so.
It's
actually, then you can get
because
the right size
properly.
Yes.
There are so many elements that go into it that you don't have the ability to choose.
That's right.
Like it's the most rigorously engineered thing I've ever sewn. It's been actually quite interesting learning how they're put together and how they're all supposed to work and why things are pokey.
Mm-hmm.
Underwires come in sizes too. Like there's a very broad range of them available in the industry, but when you buy ready to wear, the factory has been like, okay, we're going to use these 5 sizes, and these are just the ones you're going to buy.
Oh, I thought it was only 3. I thought it was only 3, but I'm just
there's somebody that I was looking at a few months back that was her whole thing was you go in and actually customize your whole order for bras from the ground up, and I can't think of the name of the company and she did it for that reason. Like sizing with you guys is very, very different from brand to brand and what have you. And
Harry's girls.
It's like,
Well, it's just like with any garment, right? If you have a certain volume of person, there are a lot of different configurations that volume of person can fit into. And the more that you're going away from the skeleton, the more variation there is, which is why display clothes are usually really small because they're just kind of a little bit away from the skeleton and that's the shape they are. They don't have to account for, okay, well, the same size 16 or whatever could be bigger in the middle or bigger on the bottom or bigger on the top or, different proportions between the different places. And yeah, I actually made a dress form. That was a fun project.
Nice.
Because I've always kind of wanted one because it's mostly because it's hard to hem your own clothes. Because if you
How'd you make it?
Because if you bend down to market, so it's cool. There's this company called Bootstrap Fashion. And I think this is sort of their whole deal. But I had heard of them because a whole bunch of people on social media, like if you're searching for like especially plus size dress forms, this started coming up. Because I do this every once in a while in the hopes that someone will have made one that fits my proportions properly, because there weren't any, and I wasn't going to pay $300 for a dress form. I was then going to have to pay another $200 to like pad and adjust to it so that it was actually the right measurements for me, because that was just dumb. And I wasn't going to pay $1,200 to buy a professional one that was actually the appropriate size. So I looked into it, and what this company does is they've got some sort of CAD software that takes measurements, and they have a selection of patterns, and it automatically like computer grades the pattern to whatever measurements you give it. So they have a pretty wide range of parameters that it'll accept. Like it'll be a minimum of this much and a maximum of this much, I guess, beyond which the thing will break. But
I'm looking at their site now.
Yeah, so they have dress forms. And so you put in your measurements and it'll give you a dress form. And what you do is you actually make the shell out of like an upholstery cloth. And then there's an interior part that you make out of like a canvas that is almost like a cross section, and then it's got a sleeve in the middle. And the way you support it is you get a PVC pipe that the sleeve fits over, and then you put that over. Like, I actually bought an IV stand off eBay or Amazon that was like $40 because it was sturdy, adjustable in height, and came on wheels. And well reviewed by many people who mostly seem to have bought it to give their cats intravenous fluids, which is apparently a pretty common thing to have to do, because a lot of people were buying this IV stand for that purpose. But so then you put the PVC pipe down over that, and that way you can adjust it to be the right height. And it actually worked out quite well. Like, I had to tweak it a little bit because it translated some of my measurements more as side to side with, like, my hip measurement especially. It translated it to be wider side to side, and I needed it to be wider back to front because it's more like I have some tummy that's contributing to that. It's instead of it being more just in the hip section. But I was able to do that relatively easily because it's like sewing almost. It's almost like sewing a really fitted bodice, which I know how to do. So, and then you just stuff it like it's a giant pillow shaped like your torso, which is kind of weird. And also, I kept kind of checking her out for a while after. I was like, all right then. It's a very body positive experience, actually. I'm like, she looks kind of huggable. I kind of like that. But it actually worked really well. I've hemmed a dress on it and put another one on to see kind of how it was draping, and it actually is a really good fit, considering that all I really paid for it was, I don't know, I think the pattern cost like $30, and then
it's like the one I'm looking at is like $24 because I had the mannequin I had the top torso mannequin for my cosplay. But it's always, it's a little smaller than I want, but it was like a cheap mannequin that was going, like, it was on sale. So I was like, I'll pay $20 for this.
They have another thing.
And it works. But this seems like it actually would be a better fit and better than using the duct tape method that everyone uses online.
Well, some people even do like body casts and do it with foam. And I'm like, I don't have that much like yard to do that kind of business.
Oh, I did it with duct tape, like my whole body.
Yeah. I've
crazy.
heard that. I was always like, I don't know. But there's one you can look for on the site. They have one that's like a mannequin or dress form cover. And if you already have a mannequin, what you do is you sew the cover in a stretchy fabric. And basically you put the cover over the mannequin you have and pad the difference. So as long as you have a mannequin that's smaller than what you need, you can also look at the cover. And that way you don't have to sew... It'll come up. You don't have to sew like you don't have to do the kind of cross bracing to support it on the inside, and you don't have to buy a 10-pound box of fiberfill. Do you know how much fiberfill is in the 10-pound box of fiberfill? There's a lot of fiberfill, and you open it and it's been compressed. It's just like
everywhere.
It was impressive.
Well, I filled part of one with plumbing foam, the foam sealant in the can. And you just spray it and it expands. That worked out great, but it gets everywhere.
Yeah, it's like all the DIY ones I had seen before this were really messy or seemed like not worth the effort or would need a crew of like 15 people to actually pull off. So I was like, this, I'm going to give this a try. And I was actually pretty pleased. I think if I had it to do over, I would have, and I may still actually do a cover, I would have made the exterior in a slicker fabric because the stuff I have is just like a remnant of upholstery fabric I got at Joann's in the clearance bin that happened to like match the walls of the studio. So I thought it'd be, look nice. And it does, but it kind of clings to, like, when I have a cotton on a cotton, they don't slide. So you have to it's harder to get the clothes on and off it because it wants to kind of stick together. So I would get something like, I'll probably at some point get like a really slick Lycra or something like that that's really slippery to just put over the top of it so it's easier to get the clothes on and off when you're using the form. But yeah,
the store
I really like
that sold those. They were always covered in like satin.
Yeah, because it's just easier to get it on and off, and it is nice because it instructs you where to. It has like your hip, waist, and bust measurements marked on the pattern. And as you're assembling, it'll be like, if you want to mark these lines, just do a zigzag stitch along this place that you just did. And it's actually very useful because it gets you your like style lines where the different things fall. So you can make sure that, you know, compare to like the natural waist and the hip and all that. That's fun. Like I've always liked messing with the patterns when I make things because nothing's ever exactly the way I want it out of the box because I'm just picky that way, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's for most people, though. I promise you. Like any time with me being tall, like it's like nope, none of this fits the way I actually want it to. There's always
the thing is, I think the only people that off the shelf stuff fits perfectly is the original fit model that brand used. You know, because everybody else, it's just sort of extrapolating and guesswork and averages, but it's not just, you know, how broad you are or anything like that, but it's also things like what's the proportion between your femurs and your shins? You know, what's the proportion?
I have found with women it's far worse too, because you guys, like, I will shop for Nicole sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And I have learned, depending on what maker it is, let me look at the maker and then the tag, because one women's 16 in pants is not necessarily the same 16 in any of the other 20 freaking pairs of pants.
Yes.
And I'm like, how do you people live like this? And they're like, well, thank you, patriarchy. Fucking it up.
Yeah, wait till you go to get stuff dry clean.
You're welcome.
Well, and even with things that are kind of
Florida, John.
With things that are kind of measurement based on dudes, I'm very tall, but I have very short legs. I'm all torso. Yeah. So like anything that is like shirt based or something, I have to wear like 8 times bigger than I normally would, just so it comes down past my abdomen. Otherwise, I'm constantly like.
So you should buy the tall size.
It doesn't work.
That doesn't help you.
Not always. No.
I mean, it really depends because there's like. I've actually seen these charts, which are kind of fascinating to me because I like to know how things work and why they're done the way they're done. There's actually guidelines for grading patterns up and down that they use in the industry. And there's like a specific amount of length that they add for every size they go up. Because you have to go out a little more before you go down, but you still have to, because if you don't lengthen it, it'll start riding up, you know? We've all had that experience. But like there's some people who probably don't grow in that same proportion. They maybe need longer than there, or you know, it's the great thing when I've been working on that I got really into kind of garment sewing and construction is that you can grade between patterns. Like I will be one pattern size in this part and another pattern size in the other part, and as long as you kind of figure out the things that you can't change, there's a lot that you can. You know, you just have to kind of blend between the sizes in between and make sure that you don't change the lengths of anything that's really structurally vital. Like with the bras, you can essentially change anything in a bra except for the wire line, which is where the underwire goes, because everything in it is drawn from that one place. And all this stuff is done there. So it's like you can make things bigger or smaller. You can change the shape. You can change the length of the straps. You can shorten or lengthen the band. You can change the shape of it, but you can't change that length of that one line. So it's fun. I mean, it's fun to do. I've enjoyed it. And then also, you know, it saves you money buying a million patterns if you realize that they're all kind of really similar to one another. Like, you know, like there's this one I've bought that's actually quite cool where her dresses will be like 4 lengths, 6 necklines, 7 sleeve options. You know, she's like, here, just take whichever ones you want and put them together. It's all essentially the same. She doesn't make you buy like 15 patterns for each of the different little stuff, which is nice. But yeah. And now I'm trying to draw because that's the thing I've been trying to pick up because I've always really kind of wanted to and never really learned. But so far, I have drawn a portrait of my husband that looks like a 6th grader's interpretation of data, a self-portrait that looks like a cubist take on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and a picture of my hand where all my fingers look like dicks. In terms of five before,
Harder. Oh my God.
So in terms of like the before stage, I'm good. Now we'll see what happens once I've actually, done some of the exercises and practice for a while.
So what's the Art Institute thing? Was it the turtle and?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Why are we
turtle.
talking about turtles again?
Right.
But
I
I
know
mean,
that a lot
if
of
you
people have-
That and the
Well, it's just-
pirate.
The
I was just going
pirate,
to say
yeah.
that it sounds like you'd make a great hentai artist, Kim.
Oh wow.
pirate with dick hands. Hell yeah.
That's a very specialized niche.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. I mean, granted, like I said, I've worked this whole time, but instead of picking up habits, what I have done is like sort of become obsessed with the different strata of hobbies.
Yeah.
That's how you can kind of go through like early quarantine. I was obsessed with toys again. Then I got the record player. Today I went to the store and bought a big ass TV because I wanted a big ass TV because eventually I want to play Miles Morales.
Yes, you do. It's
Wait,
so good.
Wait.
You do.
Who you guys got PS5s already?
I don't.
God, no.
You get it for the PS4.
Oh.
It
Oh,
came
I don't
out-
have it. I didn't know that. I haven't gotten it for the PS4
It is.
yet.
It is.
Yes, it is out
Miles-
right now.
Miles Morales, and I believe they said the Horizon sequel will also be on the PS4.
Yeah, they
Okay.
kind of sneakily put that in because they're like,
It's like-
yeah, it'll be available on PS4.
Oh yeah, it's going to be on PS4. But
PS5!
PS5. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I specifically went to the store today when I bought my TV, and I was like, I want a TV that will eventually
Yeah.
work well with a PS5, but
Yeah.
it ain't happening for a while.
I'm sorry. Hang on a minute. So Sony, if you would like myself or Kim to continually talk about your games, you could send us a PS5. You could do that.
Happily continually.
We would happily do that.
They have them like crazy here
I know.
at the
I
store.
just don't want to buy. I'm not going to buy the PS5 first. I'm going to buy the Xbox first. So I'll wait for I'm going to wait for the PS5 until something comes out that's only on it that I must play. And the only thing that was tempting was Miles Morales, and that came out for the PS4 too. So we're cool.
Yeah, well, if you buy it for the PS4, will it upgrade to the PS5, or then are you getting fucked over again?
The cover blurb that I'm holding here says you can use it for the PS5.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
'cause
it
they-
will.
'Cause that
Not
was
all
one
of
of
the Sony games will, apparently. All of the Xbox games pretty much will.
There
Okay,
is there is an edition of Miles Morales that actually has the PS5 upgrade of Spider-Man on it.
right.
That's where it gets a little weird, but otherwise, yeah.
Which that one, I mean, considering I never finished Spider-Man, I kind of want to. That's the one I kind of want to get because I would like
Yeah.
to eventually go back to it and finish it.
It is very good. I have to do the last of the DLCs. I've done all but the last DLC because I was taking my time.
See, here is really all I've done with Spider-Man and to an extent Miles Morales. I have actually played just enough to get the map open because really all I want to do is go through New York.
Well, I
you're
never
on
like take pictures.
I am a massive Spider-Man fan, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was one of those things that, not to be a bummer here, but it was just one of those things where the storyline in my life didn't kind of
Yeah.
go together very well because I bought it when I was in the middle of this like horrible breakup, and then you've got all that storyline of like this of Mary Jane and
Him
Peter.
and MJ being on the outs.
And so, I was sitting here playing this game that I was enjoing, but like crying my fucking eyes out. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put this
You're
aside.
like,
for a
sometimes there
while.
needs to be a different season in my life. Yeah, Miles Morales is so good. It's so good. He's so precious. He has a beautiful cinnamon roll.
I soon will have a kind of a top of the line ish 4K TV to play it on. So
And a very cool thing in Miles Morales that I have really, really, really liked that I don't think I've actually ever seen in a video game before, and I've played a lot of video games, is there's a character in Miles Morales who uses ASL, and he uses ASL with her, and they caption it.
I saw
And
that.
it
That
looks
beautiful.
really quite good. Like, because they don't just do the signs, but they actually animate their faces so that they're making the appropriate expressions and stuff. Like if there's a point where she says something to him like, "Don't get killed," and she makes like a sarcasm face, which is what you do with ASL. You can't just sit there stone faced. Like your expression takes the place of like the tone of voice. It's how you kind of denote I'm being serious, I'm being funny, I'm being, you know, really animated with this. And it's so cool. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was just it took a while for mocap to be there, or if it just took a while for a developer to care enough to try. But
probably the latter.
But I really loved it. Also, there's at the very beginning, there's a scene because it's set at Christmas time and you're like having Christmas dinner. I'm like, wow, look, there's like 5 people in this room and they're all awesome and none of them are white. This is so cool.
Oh, that's
because
great.
also it's set in freaking Harlem, you know, like when you go, you know, in the game, it has like the little bios for all the key characters. And the only white characters in Miles Morales are like Rhino and your villain, like evil corporate dude, and J. Jonah Jameson and Peter Parker, I think. It's pretty much all you got, which is awesome. Because this game is set in Harlem.
Yeah. Well, it also makes up for like the entire discography of Friends, where there were no black people whatsoever in New York the entire time.
What bizarre are you looking at?
Aisha Taylor showed up at one point.
What
And that was the last season.
Well,
and what bizarre world could people afford that apartment?
When they, for real.
But they were obviously in the section
Monica
of New York.
inherited that apartment from her grandmother who owned it. That was under rent control under the old
under
rule.
rent control, yeah.
She couldn't afford that apartment under normal circumstances.
Nope.
Now, they never
And-
explained how
and-
Joey and Chandler owned their apartment, but you know. Whatever.
Well, Joey was a working actor. Chandler actually had a real job.
This is true.
And they both moonlighted a la Midnight Cowboy.
Correct.
This is more about Friends than I ever cared for. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I've
I mean, the
never
first
watched
season was fun.
Hey,
but
and
after that,
and right now in this podcast, we still have more black people than an episode of Friends.
exactly.
I have never watched a full episode of Friends. I watched one
have
episode and got like annoyed. I was like first season, got annoyed by all the characters in it immediately and just never went back.
Just go watch Coupling instead.
ER when
Yeah.
Friends was on. Instead, like I feel like ER. I feel like there was this battle in the dorm like common room over like
ER was much better. The first season of ER was great.
like I think it was in like the mid to late 90s, and I got really into ER for a while, and we would all gather around in the dorm and watch it, which was I bet kids at college
The
don't do
first
that anymore.
episode,
Streaming
the first
now.
episode of ER is freaking amazing. It is one of the best pilots I've seen. It's great.
And I got into ER again when everybody left, but Noah Wiley, he was like the only old school person left, and I was like, that's kind of awesome. You're the last man standing.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
Because it's just one of those things that you kind of love shows like when Next Gen first came on, well before they spun it off or anything, I used to say as an actor, the job that I would always want on that show would have been to play Chief O'Brien, because you're in every episode. You don't have that much to memorize. You've got to, you know what you're pretty much doing every single week. You've got a steady paycheck coming in, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with the rest of your life. And then they messed it up by making him like the lead of the spinoff.
Yeah.
DS9.
And so that's why those kinds of just weird little parts are the best.
Well, it's like Paul Bettany was talking about when he went from playing Jarvis's voice to playing Vision and the MCU. He's like, man, I had it so good. I used to just turn up for a couple days and do all my ADR and be done. And now there's all this business.
Well, he says that, but you know about when he got the call to do the role, right, Kim? You know about when he got called?
I heard that story.
Yeah, he had just gotten out of an audition that had gone so poorly that whatever asshole was doing the audition basically was saying the equivalent of, "Yeah, your career is probably over. You should just probably just quit."
Wow!
And so he went outside and sat down basically on the sidewalk, at the gutter, and was just sitting there feeling fucking horrible. and then got the call from Whedon basically saying, "So I got this idea. Hear me out." And he was fine. But I forget where I heard that in the interview. But he was like, "Yeah, it was just showing up and doing ADR, but then, yeah, putting him in that super suit is
the whole
takes a little while."
Yeah, I love him though. I've loved him ever since Master and Commander.
Well, I remember him. I remember him from A Knight's Tale.
Yeah,
where he was Chaucer, and he showed up.
So funny.
Yes, and his first appearance was him walking butt naked down the road, and something about his attitude, walking butt naked down the road. I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
You're like, all right then. And he was really good in that other movie he was in with Russell Crowe, where he played his imaginary friend, like The Beautiful Mind.
Beautiful Mind, yes.
Oh yeah.
Where he was his best friend, but yeah, spoilers. Movie from like 2001.
Yeah, no, that
13-year-old spoilers.
Right. No, he was before they basically picked Heath Ledger. He was my pick for Joker. Because if you go and a film he did called Gangster Number 1, there is a cut scene where he's interrogating someone with a car battery, and he is so fucking. Have you seen that, Madman?
Yes, I have.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's you just go, and everyone was like, "Oh, Paul Bettany, what?" And I was like, "No, go watch this scene," and they would be like, "Oh, fuck." But we got Heath Ledger, so it's all good.
So I'm going to do a flashback now because I watched a video today that made me think. I don't think I ever got on to talk about this, but Birds of Prey. That movie was really good.
Yeah, I need to see that. I haven't seen that.
That is the last thing I saw in the theater.
I did not expect. I expected to be mildly entertained and came out of it really hyped for it. Like, I did not expect to come out liking it as much as I liked it. But, like, I don't understand why it didn't do better. Like, everybody who has complained about big, climactic, weightless CGI superhero battles, who did not look at the last act of Birds of Prey as, like, a gift from heaven, just needs to stop talking about that, because that was the best, like, practical, human scale, beautifully choreographed.
The choreography was fantastic.
Original fight
needed more
that I think I've ever seen. Like,
that story needed more work, and they
was,
gutted the core of who the characters were.
Like, the things that it did well, it did so well. And
that many female characters that never had to be catty to one another. They were supported throughout the whole film.
And
it got no issues with that.
Yeah, like it could have. I think it could. It's one of those films where I'm like, I really want to see what this creative team would do with 2 or 3 more films under their belt, because I can see so much. There's so much there that is, like, the themes of the film are carried out in things like fight choreography and costume design really cohesively, and in shots. Like, that's the first time I think there was a moment that really, really struck me in that movie. And that was one of the points where I went from, yeah, okay, I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would, to holy shit, I'm in love. Was there's the scene, besides the fact that Ewan McGregor is in it, and I think he's really good in it. And I like
all the same. Like, you're allowed to have your opinion, buddy.
I really enjoyed it. I thought he was what it needed to be. Is there's the scene where he, like, makes the woman take her dress off in the nightclub, right?
Oh my god, that's horrific.
Yes, because this is the thing. At any other like similar action superhero movie, that's going to be one of those scenes where it's like, oh, it's bad, but it's sexy bad. You know what I mean? Like
No,
there's
that was
always the thing.
No,
like
they made this bad.
It was degrading and humiliating.
It was exactly what it is. You know, it wasn't shot like it wasn't shot in a way for anybody to enjoy watching it.
No, and it really did let you know there was a lot more menace to this character who was sort of chewing the scenery through the rest of the film.
Like,
and
okay.
Like this used to be a head. Isn't that weird?
Right, like he's kind of playing it all up, but you're like, oh yeah, because he doesn't care about other people and he dehumanizes other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time I think I've actually seen something like that used as a way to show a villain in a way that made it actually seem dehumanizing and villainous and not just like and that was why I was like, that is one place I could really tell a woman directed the movie, because she wasn't wearing cute, fancy matching underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't all, ooh, you weren't looking at her to objectify her. You were seeing everybody be horrified and uncomfortable and not know where to look. And you felt awful and didn't know where to look. And that was exactly the way, if you're going to have something like that in your film, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be one of those where, we're saying in the narrative that this shows that this person is evil, but also, don't you like looking at this pretty lady in her undies, tee-hee, which most film, I was like, oh, here's the place where it's going to be this. And it was the opposite of that. And I was like, whoa.
Well, that and the fact that I believe Harley's outfits covered her whole ass through the entire movie.
They did.
And also,
and that's not the case in the first one.
The thing I really liked is that her clothes, to me, in that film, felt like the expression of her personality. It felt like I could totally see her picking out that jacket. I love that jacket. The crazy fringe jacket. It's beautiful. And her clothes look like something she could be comfortable in and move in and fight in and not be, picking sequin wedgies for the next week.
And if as someone with incredibly long hair, if we're going to throw down, please give me a hair tie.
Exactly, a hair tie. It's like there are so many grounded, realistic touches that just, to me, I was like, oh yes, someone who has actually dealt with this issue in a personal way was making some creative decisions here. And so and then the whole chase with the roller skates at the end was so great. It was like, and you say practical effects and practical work are dead. I'm sure there was CGI there, but everything felt so much more kind of crunchy and impactful because it wasn't like giant monsters flying out from everywhere. It was just human scale bad people and human scale fights, but it was just so satisfying to watch. And the choreography was so great. And the colors and the way everything popped. I just really enjoyed it. And I loved the characters. I enjoyed them all. I liked the way that they were antagonistic for a while, but then they were like, okay, well, we're going to team up. And they're like, yeah. And then they all went and had tacos and margaritas. And it was just great. And this is the thing, I know that, I don't know, quote unquote fandom loves the whole big, let's have all the good guys fight each other thing. And I don't know what part of fandom that is. It is not the part I'm in. I don't want to watch my favorites all fight and have to take sides and all that. I don't want that. I want them all to be friends and mutually support one another in a positive and emotionally uplifting way and then fight bad people, because that's what I want.
You need to blame Stan Lee for that. I mean, it was always a way of introducing, doing the two-punch comic. So that's like, I mean, if you had talked to somebody who knows their comics and stuff, that's happened, since 1954.
Well, and comics fans have always been who can win in a fight. Everybody wants to know, if Wolverine could beat Superman. I've never been that kind of fan, but
I mean, I know it's
yes, but I am fine with.
But who would
go
win?
ahead, Tuffley.
JJ.
Well, but even with Spider-Man and Superman, that was always kind of in a cheesy kind of, we all know that this is what you want, but we're not. Yeah. It's not the sort of the grim dark no, really, they're going at it to kill each other. That sort of thing where they were doing in Batman versus Superman. You know,
right.
it wasn't.
If it's warranted by the narrative, then I'm fine with it, and I appreciate how the MCU managed to take Civil War, which was basically nothing but, oh, we want to see superheroes fight, and make it justified. And you know, even in I think it was Infinity War, where the Guardians were taking on Spider-Man and Iron Man and stuff. It made sense the way they did it. So if it's narratively supported, yeah. If it's just
but before
you've shown up and I don't know who you are.
But the thing is they used that trope in one of the Avengers when it was the introduction of Thor and Iron Man.
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, I'm talking more the sort of Civil War type Batman v Superman, like it's going to be a furious thing. Like there's a long tradition of introducing a character as being initially antagonistic and then they come around. I mean, you know, my own faves, Hawkeye and Black Widow, were both introduced as, I think, Iron Man.
Well, I think
Iron Man villains.
Even like in some of the world's finest stuff, that's the version you sort of get where they don't trust each other, but then eventually, yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. I mean, the thing about Civil War is they're having two different arguments the whole time. And they're both right, but they're not having the same fight. Like, because the Steve side is completely emotional and the Tony side is basically logic. And
wrong.
You know, and they're arguing past each other about two different questions.
Which is very realistic because that happens all the fucking time.
And it kind of, again, makes sense from who they are. There's, you know, Captain America, who was chosen to be Captain America because of his heart, and Tony, who always is trying to encapsulate everything and make it safe. So he's hiding behind the government.
Although I will say,
I think that some of the stuff from Civil War lost its shine for me as real worlds, you know, individualistic standing up against the government stuff became more and more toxic, especially with the whole, like, I'm going to be the symbol of America and go against 144 other nations of the world and what they want. I'm like, yeah, no. But, you know, because I'm a comic fan, I don't have to like everything in canon. Like, that's canon is to me, it's not like one of those gourmet dinners where you have to eat all the things. Like, it's a buffet. You just take the parts you want and you leave the parts you don't want. And if you take a couple bites and it goes weird in the middle, you just leave it under your roll and you go get another plate. It's fine.
But
to just continuity in a year or two anyway.
And so to speak to that, though, that's why I didn't like Birds of Prey, right? Because they strayed so far away from who Black Canary was. They strayed very, very far away from who Montoya was. They did an okay job with Huntress Bertinelli, but not really, right? Those characters were actually really, really well developed and well-rounded female characters that people had put time into developing, and all of that was gutted. You have them running around after what's the young girl in the movie that was the thief. They completely removed Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, she was different.
Was completely gutted of any and all of her agency that was developed within comics whatsoever. She isn't the one that needs rescuing, right? She is the rescuer. So when you take a character who was and like, now, don't get me wrong, there's some screwed up things with her character development from the jump, even in Batman, right? They, like, you know, but when I look at that movie and I look at, you know, Jurnee Smollett's character as Black Canary and all of the different versions of Black Canary that have come before, and it was kind of nothing like the Black Canary that we've gotten in any iteration, and they were weaker versions, right? Montoya, very much a weakened version of what they got. The Harley Quinn parts are fantastic. Before the movie came out, I watched all of the fight choreography because hats off to Margot Robbie. She did all of her own fucking stunts. She trained really, really hard, and she pulled a lot of awesome shit off that you get to go watch on the back end and watch the choreography that happens and the run-throughs. And I'm like, geez, that's pretty hardcore.
I need to probably get that and get whatever special edition has with behind the scenes.
Yeah, but everything else with those other characters, even somewhat of Black Mask or even Victor Zsasz, right? They were gutted. They were gutted a great deal.
So I think
that's
probably
par for the course for DC Extended Universe in that they have no patience to establish characters in an organic way. So they just basically,
I get it.
We want a team. We want a team. We need a team now because
we're gonna make a team and everything's
that's what Marvel
and I think
did.
part of it for me too, why I could enjoy it that much is that I don't dislike DC, but I am very, very, very much more knowledgeable about Marvel comics than DC comics. I don't read a lot of DC. I have read a lot of Wonder Woman comics, and I have read some of the Batgirl, like Burnside run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've read the entirety of the Sandman, but that's a technicality.
It's different. That's different.
Well, the first 2 volumes are in the DC universe.
That's right.
Yeah, it's coming to Netflix anyway.
So I'm coming to it where the most knowledge I have of most DC characters is either from watching Super Friends when I was a little kid, or from playing Injustice 2, the fighting game, which honestly has a good.
Yeah.
The only reason I played that is because it does have actually a quite good story. I was just really bored with all the parts where I actually had to play basically Mortal Kombat with superheroes. I was like, kick, put it on super easy. I want to see the next cutscene.
Yeah, the Injustice comic book is fucking amazing. So
the video game is really good.
Tom Taylor wrote that, and there's 4 series of it, and it's really, really good. You want to talk about narratively supporting heroes fighting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely works there.
Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from, Madman. I just think that part of the issue, in my opinion, is where you are coming from is someone who has had a lot of really good films. For those of us who were comic book fans for so long and watched Captain America in a motorcycle helmet with a transparent shield on a motorcycle, and that was all we got. Or then they made the big budget one where he had his fucking rubber ears on the outside.
Oh yeah.
And
David Hasselhoff.
Red Skull was Italian. Or when
was that the canon Captain America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when Doctor Strange wore a flock of seagull blouse.
Or when Thor showed up as a supporting character in the Incredible Hulk returns,
and
he also had like one of those had Daredevil in a like shiny satin black tights.
That's why seriously, I think people need to watch those so that they can fully appreciate
what they have.
That is what we had. That is what we had.
We had nothing good.
You should burn incense for Kevin Feige every fucking day, people.
So I although I understand what you're saying, there are characters like if I was worried about Into the Spider-Verse when it first came out because I was really excited that they were going to make a Miles Morales movie, but then when
they're making a Miles Morales movie and then it's got Spider-Ham in it, how is that going to be good?
As soon as I found out Peter Parker was going to be in it, I was like, oh fuck, they're going to take all the shine away.
But they had that already established.
But what they also managed to do was make a film that was a Miles Morales movie where all those other characters were secondary. And that's what made that movie work.
There is a suit you can unlock in the Morales game that changes the frame rate so it looks like Spider-Verse, and it makes him look like he looks in Spider-Verse. And it has a thing where when you get into fights, it makes the little like pow, bam, whack.
That's fantastic.
And it is like the best thing ever in a video game. It's sorry.
No.
You just made me think of that. I was like, oh, it's so good.
Well, I was just gonna say, if anybody has not, and I know we probably anybody listening has not gone and watched any of the behind the scenes stuff for the deep thought that went into like frame rate for Spider-Verse and the various styles of the characters. Oh, you really need to delve. They put so much.
It's so deliberate
thought into that thing.
Just writing,
and it made Kim happy with a bagel.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much.
But here's the thing. That's another reason why Birds of Prey sets with me so bad, right? It's because you've got to think, right? So with Miles Morales, that became one of the most prominent, well-recognized Black characters in the Marvel universe, right? Where it's already fairly limited to begin with, right? And so you start looking at the films that we have and the properties that we all tend to know about it, as far as our geekdom, and it's like, so you take a movie with a predominantly female cast up front, and you gut all of the female characters that had life given to them and actual development, right? That's almost like a disservice. Like, why? Like, it's like, okay, yes, we got representation, but it's like, okay, but you've given us like kind of shitty representation.
It's like, as much as I love Tom Holland, and I adore Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man movies I absolutely love, but they did take Miles Morales and they took his supporting cast and his story, palette swapped him in for Peter Parker, and we have to acknowledge that because
it's Spanky. Oh wait, no, his name's Ned.
Nope, it's Ned. Right. And with that one was easier to swallow only because all of that came from the Ultimates universe where he did have his own run and what have you. So I can go, okay, I'm watching a mashup of something that actually has a semblance of something that they used as a frame of reference. With Birds of Prey, man, like I said, though all of those women were gutted of their agency, period. Like every single character. And I could see if it was just one, but it happened with Black Canary. It happened with Cassandra Cain. It happened with Montoya. It happened with Helena. And I'm like, wow, we're not going to put development into any of these other people. This is strictly going to be the
Rocks.
Bye, Rocks.
The only thing that I would throw in there.
Florida.
Take care.
Will do.
The only thing I would throw at that, and I wholeheartedly believe, of course, that your opinion is valid and correct. But the one thing that I will throw about that is when I saw that film with women that were not comics fans and watched just the simple joy of seeing them, like we were talking about the agency, the empowerment, the just non-sexualized gaze, and all of those things, that the film has enough about it that was powerful to the women in my life that don't give a shit about comics, that I'm going to say that it deserves a lot of praise.
So with that, I will go with the same women that watched that movie and enjoyed it and wanted to know more about X, Y, and Z, all took to Twitter after when they found out all of the other source material. I'm like, those aren't even the fucking same people. Why weren't they as badass in the movie as they were? I'm like, well, because this is what you got.
But when my roommate wears I shaved my balls today for this t-shirt, they're incredibly happy. I am not going to be there to mansplain feminism to her.
Good call.
I think the other thing that you mentioned about Birds of Prey, and I think we've had this conversation, Kim, that well, maybe it'd be nice if they did another one, but this is one of those cases where had things not shifted, and maybe the last year that some things are apparently going to, it probably wouldn't have gotten a sequel, depending on where Suicide Squad goes. But it seems like with things shifting toward HBO Max, shifting toward streaming, and the thresholds and the budgets are going to be a little leveled off a little, that it could could possibly end up seeing a sequel to Birds of Prey where you wouldn't if it were just a strictly theater proposition.
If we're getting a John Cena, if we're getting a John Cena Peacekeeper show, anything's possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Are we?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes,
Yeah.
we are getting a John Cena Peacemaker show by
oh my god.
I
by
know.
James Gunn. That is happening.
Which at
Well,
the same time, I'm like, really?
That
And
is-
at the
that
same
is in
time,
the
I'm like,
process of
that's going to
happening
be bananas.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like if you tell me that's happening, and I go, oh, I don't know, but then you tell me, oh yeah, it sprang from the mind of James Gunn. I'm like,
I'll give it a shot.
okay, he's obviously up to something.
And from what I understand, it's just one of those things that it was something that while they were filming it, it's kind of like how he found, I guess he likes wrestlers because Drax became his favorite character, and I guess that's kind of what happened with Peacekeeper too, is that that they were filming it, and and so he looks so stupid. I love it.
It's ridiculous.
And
but I mean, the whole
which
whole
is
cast
great
that
because
he's using for
Bautista's
that is
awesome.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he's so good in that.
Well,
He's apparently a super sweet guy. Like everyone
good
was
in a
always
lot of
talking about
things.
what sweet he is.
Yeah,
well, he was in Blade Runner. He was great. Everything else he showed, I still need to see. He was in Hotel Artemis, right?
Harkonnen?
I think
He's the he's one of the Harkonnens, and
Oh,
what's the name
Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The only thing I know about Dune is that Oscar Isaac is a major thirst trap in it.
Well, it's because he's there.
True.
All I know is that it's directed by the guy who did Blade Runner 2049, which had no business being as good as it was, but was fucking amazing. And so I'm just like, I will go watch anything that guy wants to put on the screen at this point.
I mean, I am a heterosexual cis white male, and if Oscar Isaac made Google eyes at me, I'd probably at least think about it for a minute.
So many tweets to that effect.
I mean, I would take Poe Dameron's jacket in a fucking heartbeat.
Well, hey, Kenzie is really a scale.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know that my normal is pretty low on that scale. But
Your Kenzie number changes when Oscar Isaac comes in.
It's Oscar Isaac. The only movie he's not sexy in is Ex Machina because he's an evil shithead.
Well, I would
maybe
I would,
Apocalypse.
well, okay, I would also add
because I was like-
Apocalypse. Yeah,
I was so mad when I saw that
X-Men
film.
Apocalypse.
I was so mad about it because I'm like,
There are so many
you have
reasons to be mad at that film.
Oscar Isaac in your movie, and you made him unrecognizable. Why would you do that to his beautiful face?
Why would you have Apocalypse in your movie and the only thing he actually does is design costumes for people?
Well, why would you have Apocalypse in your movie?
Well, technically, he does
and
that now.
basically,
Why would you have
he's a
Cassandra
Power
Cain in the
Rangers
movie and
villain.
she can't fight?
Yeah. Which actually goes back to something you asked me a while ago, John. So if it was Wolverine directed by Bryan Singer and Superman is directed by Zack Snyder, then nobody wins. We all fucking
No, we lose. We lose.
Could we?
Hey, but the
what
Snyder cut of
about-
it would come out and it would be 6 hours long.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I
So
still
what
won't
about?
I can't believe people think that's going to be good. Like,
Now all of them versus John Cena's
God.
Peacemaker.
it's not going to be good.
John Cena was good in Bumblebee.
No. See, what's really going to happen in the Snyder Cut is the thing where the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, which is the setup for the game.
That trailer for the game looked better than everything I ever
Yes.
saw.
Yeah, that game looked crazy.
That game
Yep.
looks great.
I mean, that's not saying much.
What?
I
Just
know.
let
I
Rock.
mean,
just let Rocksteady save the DC universe. That'd be fine.
I mean, you know.
Just let them do it.
God. Well, we should probably do some quick recommendations and go away so we can.
Oh,
Yeah.
even recommendations.
Yeah, so it's like late and shit.
I'll go. I
Go,
can go
Tuffley.
first.
Go.
So I was thinking about
Which I
this.
got 243 on the time. And then
Okay.
249 as well.
Okay.
Okay. So I did give this some thought because you said this was the last one of the year. So I thought I would bring up a couple of things that have really kind of gotten me through this train wreck, horrible trash fire of a year.
Titles.
Yeah. I thought I would mention, because I've mentioned it several times on every single episode I've been on, Animal Crossing.
Yay!
What's this thing?
It is the reason I bought a freaking Switch. It's, you know, when you are aware of the things that are going on in the outside world, it is nice to go to your own island where everyone in the island likes you, and any arguments can be settled by buying them a large television. It's fine. No, that's how
JJ solved his reason
that's
argument.
really how I cope.
What I did today.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Exactly. Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing New Horizons, it really helped a lot. The other thing that I'll point out is Tom Brehen, I believe is his name, writes a column for Stereo Gum called The Number Ones.
That's so good.
And it is basically, he has basically taken all of the Billboard number ones from the beginning of the chart in 1958 through right now we are in 1986. And he's written essays, terrific essays about all the number one songs.
He just did one on Falco.
A lot of times
today.
Yeah.
the essays for the worst songs are the best essays.
Yeah. And additionally, there are also bonus columns that he's written because they did, I don't think it was a Kickstarter, but it was some crowdfunding thing that they did when Stereo Gum went independent again. So there are bonus columns in recently about songs that were in the top 100 that people asked them to do because they donated enough money that they actually got a column based on a song. And nice. I believe the funniest thing is, I believe the lead singer for Bad Religion was one of the donors and had no idea of any song on the charts. And eventually they went through this process of picking one for him. It's hilarious. But it's a really good column. It's called The Number Ones. It's on Stereo Gum. And the other thing I will mention is, and it's something I got recently, is they did a kind of large retrospective collection of Sparks that I think the British arm of BMG put out. It's really cheap. It's about $12 most places, and it's a really good retrospective of Sparks. And I kind of got into them because Edgar Wright's apparently doing a biopic for him on them that is apparently he's been working on for a few years. Is apparently one of his dream projects that he wanted to do about Sparks. So I was kind of tertiarily familiar with them, but I've it's a large collection. It's like 65 tracks, which kind of runs through them up to FFS. There's an FFS song that's on there as well. So it's really interesting, and it's really good, and it's two guys that end up taking the piss out of a lot of popular music of the last 40 years without you really noticing that they're taking the piss out of it. It's awesome, and really enjoyed that. So yeah, a couple of things that I just used to get kind of cope through this year. So there you go.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, Tuffley. All right, who's next?
I don't really have much, so I can go real quick.
Go, JJ.
I haven't watched it yet, but I did pick up something recently just because I wanted to hold it in my hand and believe that it existed. So I have picked up the movie The New Mutants.
I
have
hold on,
it.
Not as bad as it sounded.
Well, I mean, considering I own it now, I mean, because I figure even if it really, really sucks, it does at least have characters in it that I do very much like. So I will sit down and watch that eventually. I just haven't yet.
You break it, you bought it.
Speaking of things that are
we're gonna argue about that one though.
The thing is, I mean, with the exception of. Honestly, with the exception of maybe Dark Phoenix, even Dark Phoenix has a couple of things I can find some appreciation at. The Dazzler seems nice.
Hold on. New Mutants had some great scenes in it, right? Magic really, really shines, right? They do a decent job with the casting, with the exception of they literally have whitewashed every Afro-Latina character in there, from Reyes to Sunspot. All of them are now very, very much Spaniards.
I didn't
The
know.
Loki animation from the trailer looked good.
Oh, no. The animation in it isn't the issue at all.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward
It's
to it.
just incredibly mediocre.
I do really, I really hate the fact that they whitewashed Sunspot. Because that's something that the comics is kind of doing. I didn't know Reyes was in it.
And she is whitewashed too.
That sucks. And then another thing that is,
we don't have enough characters already.
Yep.
My problem is
now they did
just
stack them with
not-
Latino characters, that actors and actresses. That's
Okay.
that's accurate. However, they removed the Afro part completely.
Yeah, but I mean,
Gotta
over
go
here
with
on,
Dusty Dursley on.
I do have a toy shelf over here that is nothing but like figures of the Rasputin family. So magic was one of the major selling points for me on this film anyway.
Yes, when you see that arm and sword come out, it is definitely it'll make you twinkle on the inside.
I know that they wanted to put the actor from Deadpool in there as Colossus, but they ran out of money, which saddens me. So another thing that I have been enjoying the hell out of lately. I am a big Public Enemy fan. The new Public Enemy album is fucking great.
Damn it!
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It wasn't Rob.
That is another. When I was talking about things that are on the agenda to get, after the holidays, that's another one that I've been streaming, but I will pick up on vinyl.
It's a great record. It's really good.
It's so good. I mean, George Clinton, the fucking Beasties. It's a great album. And then the last thing is because we've been talking about the toy collecting, which I'm trying to cut back on. I was pretty much telling myself I was done with toys, and then they came out. They just announced there's a line of Marvel Legends that's about to come out that is based on Into the Spider-Verse. It's so fucking good.
There's a Miles Morales sideshow that's based on the game, and he has his little leg warmers and scarf and winter hat over his suit, and he has a backpack with Spider Cat in it, and I really want it.
Well, the Peter,
I've withheld so far.
but they have it's Peter B. Parker, it's Miles,
and motherfucking Stilt Man. You get fucking Stilt Man.
But to get Stilt Man, I mean, you have to get the Hand Ninja too, which means I probably will end up buying the whole case. But I don't really, the fact they put a Daredevil villain in their career, but it's Stilt Man. But there's Miles.
Sometimes so weird.
Gwen comes with a Spider Pig, so basically you get everyone, or Spider Ham, excuse me. But you get you get everybody except Spider and Spider-Man Noir, but it's a really comprehensive set and it's gorgeous.
But they've released those already.
Yeah,
they actually have released those already.
I got right after the movie came out. I think we left the theater and went directly to Target so that I could buy the Gwen and Miles Legends 2-pack that they had when the movie was out.
Yes,
I think
I have that one.
Went to a theater that's like catty corner from a Target, and I was like, "Take me to Target. I need this."
That's also why we have a Detective Pikachu in the house.
So the new version that JJ's talking about has Miles with the unmasked head, with the actual Into the Spider-Verse face sculpt, the jacket, and what have you.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah, and Peter B. Parker has a head that has where he's pulling the mask on, which is gorgeous. Aww. He also comes with a soda.
Yeah, it's I was trying not to get Legends anymore. My shelf is full.
I am.
We all are, Kim. We all are.
My shelf is full, and I have no more house.
Damn you, Hasbro!
I told myself, I really did tell myself I was out of toys. There's even a hot toy that's out right. A Hot Toys that just came out. That's it came out about a month or two ago. That's from Endgame. It's Captain America with a broken shield and Mjolnir. And I'm like, oh, I want that, but I'm gonna let it go. I can let it go.
I pre-ordered a bunch of the Endgame ones. I don't even remember which ones I have coming anymore. I did it all right after the movie.
JJ, I know of a guy that's having a sale right now. If you want any of the Marvel movie properties for Hot Toys, whole collection's being sold right now as we speak.
Fuck off.
If you had the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire tense music now, it would be good.
I don't need to hear this, but I'm gonna get that Into the Spider-Verse set just because it is really, really nice. And that would be it for me. I'm done. And don't talk to me about toys anymore.
Hey JJ,
You enabler. Yes.
have you heard the new AC/DC record yet?
I am, believe it or not really an AC/DC guy.
Okay, I'm not a huge fan. There's 3 or 4 albums that I love, but there are people I know that don't love them, that love the new record.
Okay.
And I just wanted, and I haven't heard more than like 2 tracks, but I'm trying to find a practical way to approach it. But it is supposed to be amazing.
I mean, I understand and I appreciate what they do. AC/DC to me is kind of like Aerosmith and the fact that they recorded an album a long time ago and they just keep putting it out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you only really need those 3. There's only 3 you really need. But so many people have been talking about this that I'm kind of curious about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that really love them, but they're just, I mean, I'll check it out, but it's rare for me to go, well, that's nice.
Here's what I would say about that, about Power Up. A lot of people have been kind of talking about, oh, this is Malcolm's last songs. Don't expect any profundity, because what you're expecting from AC/DC album, yeah, exactly. Don't expect any profundity from Malcolm. It's still random sexual encounters. That's what those songs are, and it's fine.
From the man who brought you big balls.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
It's not the AC/DC version of Black Star, okay? Just let's all level off of that.
Or even Innuendo.
Exactly.
Wow. There's a mental image for the ages.
Oh my
It's
God.
It's still random
So who's
sexual
next?
encounters. Yes.
All right, I'll go next.
Red.
All right. So, number 1 recommendation for those that haven't watched it yet, let's just go right ahead and go through. Watch Lovecraft Country. It's fantastic.
Oh my God.
Had a lot of good work done to it. Had a lot of great research done to it. There's a companion podcast. Huh? What?
Is it like horror? Is it scary, or is it more suspense?
Yes.
All of it.
But also maybe too scary for me, because as you recall, I am a giant scaredy baby.
So am I, Kim, and it's not. It doesn't have much on the horror side. It's got more gore.
There's some horrible stuff that happens.
Well, there's horrible stuff, but it's not.
There's blood and gore. There is severe blood and gore in several episodes.
Kim,
I watched the whole thing. I
mean, there's blood and gore in the Japanese movie House, but it's funny.
No, this isn't funny at all. There's some scenes definitely that are just bloody.
Okay,
Kim, you will have the means to sample that for about a month. So
when we watched the original Night of the Living Dead, like I couldn't watch the one scene where they all like jump on the guy.
That was Riftcraft's version.
No, you will not be able to watch parts of Lovecraft Country.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say I haven't even watched Lovecraft Country, but I can tell you.
I'm like, there are some scary things I can handle, but
no. Well, this
Kim, you should probably
it's not even necessarily scary. It's just there's a lot of gore associated with what's going on, and it's very, very graphic, and it's done very kind of realistic.
Well, it's an HBO show.
I can do the stylized stuff. Like I was okay with King because that was so hyper stylized. It didn't like seem real.
Yeah,
but things that seem real can get too much for me.
Okay.
Right.
I think if you're freaked out by that scene in Night of the Living Dead, there's probably some episodes of Falcon Crest you should avoid. I'm just saying.
You should enjoy avoid them all.
Yeah. But having not seen I haven't seen the series, but being familiar with the book, I would say that it is an important enough show to watch that it's okay to watch it through your fingers. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, and they deviated a lot from the book, but the story that they told, and all of the history that is packed into each. So it's one of those shows where there's so much packed into history and spoilers. Not spoilers, but Easter eggs in those episodes. You're just like, huh? Like without giving anything away, right? There's an episode where you're looking at the kid, and if you're black and you know who the kid is Emmett Till. They actually use him as a character, right? And there's a lot that goes into that later. And he's very much alive during this time. But he's literally with them at a house party. The kids are playing with a Ouija board in a basement, right? And it's, the kids playing a game, and it's just like your friend Emmett. He's there, and he's wearing the actual outfit that you normally see in all of the Emmett Till pictures with the white shirt, bow tie, the bow tie and everything else, right? And you're just like, oh, right? There's a lot of things in there that get chucked on. Like I think one of the very early episodes, they were, there's a scene where he goes, "Why is the White House white?" And they were like, "Oh shit!" And they start running, and it had to do with a house fire, because the history of the White House is it was painted white after the shit got burned, right? And so that's kind of something that was thrown into the movie, where there's a lot of things that are actual, real, factual history that get used to propel the story and woven into the story and how it impacts the people in the story. It's a very, very heavy show. I recommend following. There's a podcast with Misha, who was the director for the show for this season, and they cover all of the actual Easter eggs and everything. The artwork for the comic books in the show and everything else are done by Afua Richardson right here in Atlanta.
I love her.
Yep. Dr. Fu is always at most of the conventions you see here, and what have you. So that was a good one. The other thing is to get back to what JJ's trying to escape from. My other recommendations this week. So if you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon, you can read Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Dark Knight's Metal, which is a giant run from DC Comics, and they're collected editions and available on that Amazon Need Coffee link that I just gave you, right? And you can buy those, and it's various dark versions of Batman throughout the universe that are all conspiring, being led by one Jokerized Batman. I'm simplifying it, but you can buy those. But you can also now, on the same Amazon link, buy the actual action figure versions for all of those evil dark Batmen known as the Dark Knights.
The Ravens are so cool.
I have the entire set. So what he's referring to is there's the Batman Who Laughs, who the culmination, without giving anything major away, because he's just one of the main bad guys. It's Batman under the influence of Joker toxin. So he becomes completely evil, but he's Batman. So he thinks of everything. His Robins are actually called Crows, and they're Jokerized kids that run around, and they're evil little Robins. And for the toys, they made 3 different versions. So each has a different Jokerized head on each different crow. And it's part of a Build-A-Figure set. So there's like Batman the Merciless, where he actually takes Wonder Woman's God Killer sword and Ares' armor. So to give you kind of an indication of what's going on there. There's going to be plenty of other Batmen that come out of this. So I've been going through the line and just grabbing all of the new McFarlane toys, and all of those are available pretty much on that, www.needcoffee.com/Amazon site. And you can still order those, and they're only like $20 a piece. But those are not the Crows.
Yeah, I said crow. I said ravens, not crows. But yeah, with the crows, they kind of did the opposite of what they did with the Marvel Legends Stepford Cuckoos, where they give you one figure and a bunch of heads.
Right.
They did that with the Dora Milaje too. Like there was the one figure, and there were like 3 or 4 different faces for her.
Oh yeah, I have them all. I have 16 of them at this point because I made an entire army.
I don't have an army, but I have enough that I have one of each of the faces.
And they did the same thing with the MJ Gwen Stacy, which I kind of hated too.
That was weird. Just awkward. That was awkward.
Oh yeah, that just has so many bad implications. Really,
and just breaking the neck and pulling the head off Gwen Stacy is just heartbreaking. And on that note, I should probably go. So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, JJ.
Hi, JJ.
Stay safe, man.
JJ.
And then I've got one final recommendation, which has been getting me through all of some of this is Great British Bake Off.
Yes.
So I've gotten away from my Food Network just a little bit and decided to delve into the Great British Bake Off. So that's been made available out on Netflix.
Christmas
So
special start this week.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to catch up on a little bit of that. But yeah, so just so you know, between all of us, all of my hobbies are going to come to a very screeching halt very, very, very soon. But I will have to tell you exactly what the new plan for 2021 is on the very next podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, I'm going to leave with a cliffhanger, which means we have to record this next month.
Okay.
It's really nice to hear your voice. I miss
you too, Kimmy.
Soft and sexy.
We had one person over for Thanksgiving who is a single person who is quarantined, and we had this negotiation ahead of time that sounded like we were negotiating some sort of like swingers party or hookup or something about how many people we had seen.
And unless I am not mistaken, that's a sexual reference?
No.
That's right,
No, we really call it risk-aware consensual Thanksgiving.
Not when it involves turkey. Now.
Oh God.
Whoa.
That's a sign that most is a sexual reference.
Hit me with that tryptophan, baby.
I got your stuffing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Kim, you were saying something?
Slather me with them yams.
Anyway.
So, Kim, recommendations.
So, recommendations. Obviously, Spider-Man Miles Morales. If you have a PS4 or a PS5 and you like games that are fun, you should play Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I hate games that are fun.
Like, unless you hate fun and all you play is like Demon Souls. And even
Desert Bus.
Go to the joyful side of life. Swing around New York for a while doing flips.
Swinging. Did you catch that? Swinging.
Anyway, Miles Morales is great.
Lots of swinging going over there at the Tuffleys.
Control, which I think I recommended when it came out, has an Ultimate Edition that's just been released that includes all the DLC and also has the upgrade for free for the new gen when it comes out. That game didn't sell as well as I think it should have because I really liked it. And I thought it was really original and fun and quirky in a very sort of X-Files-y way. Also, I always like to play as a badass redhead who has psychic powers. Like, that's kind of my whole deal. So it was really good. So that is out and it's good. But the one thing I did definitely want to recommend is something that I have been playing the hell out of, which I...
Beat Saber?
Well, that too. Beat Saber as well. It's really good. But the one thing I wanted to talk about that I stole from my husband and haven't given back for many days...
That's okay. Cyberpunk's coming. I know when the date is.
No, it's true. That once that hits, all bets are off. No, it is Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay.
Which is a series of games that I came to very late. Like a Dragon, I believe, is technically Yakuza 7.
Yeah, it's 7.
And I never got into the games before because I thought it was Grand Theft Auto, but in Japan. Because, Yakuza, it's like Japanese mafia, all this stuff. But I was so wrong. It's not Grand Theft Auto, but in Japan. It's a lot more like Saints Row, but in Japan. It is. These are the most like buck wild banana crackers video games. So I started, actually, Mike got me Judgment last year for Christmas, which is a like sidequel, I think. Like it's a side story that is related to, it's set in the same world, but is not in the same plot continuity. And I found myself really liking it. And Like a Dragon is actually a departure for the series because the previous installments have all been like beat 'em ups with kind of RPG-ish elements. And Like a Dragon has actually gone full on JRPG. And your protagonist character is this guy who is literally the world's worst Yakuza. Like, he is the most ill-suited person on earth to be a gangster. He is basically a giant fluffy puppy in a bad Yakuza suit and gold chains. And he's kind of dim. He's not real bright. He's very naive. And he really buys into all the, like, honor among thieves, Yakuza code, like, ideals.
And the reason it's an RPG
is because he grew up playing Dragon Quest and loves it. And he views everything in his own personal life as though he is the protagonist of the game trying to level up and be a hero. And so, like, there's literally this mechanic where it tells you, like, in a little thing, because of his vivid imagination, whenever you start to fight with somebody, they do this little transformation into enemies, and your party transforms into things. It reminds me a lot of a game called Earthbound that came out for the Super Nintendo way back in the day, in the early 90s, I'm guessing, sometime early mid 90s. I was in high school, where it is one of those games that takes a modern setting and very prosaic things about the real world and puts an RPG spin on them. So you fight these like all of the enemies are like, they all have these names that I really have to give props to the localization team on this game, because there are so many puns and so much wordplay that it just makes me wonder what the originals were in Japanese that they localized. Like, there is an enemy type that is literally called Hungry Homeless, which is terrible but also funny. There is
homeless.
Yes, like there are there are chefs who breathe alcohol flames on you. There's like a dine and dasher. Like, they're all like, there's capitalist predator. Like, there's all these very, like, monsterized sort of enemy types that are just like random people, like train conductors or taxi drivers or like, chefs or gangsters or whatever. But they've all got these like pun names that they transform into. And your character classes, they have a job system, which I believe is a Dragon Quest thing. I've actually not played Dragon Quest, but I played a lot of other JRPGs. And so you have these jobs like, you start with detective or barmaid or like whatever their job is. And you can change them into different ones. And so all of their attacks are themed and their weapons are themed. Like, you can be a card dealer and all of your attacks do a randomly determined damage type based on what kind of card they draw or whatever. So it's like, there's this one character who's a clerk, and all of her attacks are like, she scatters thumbtacks, or she throws scissors at the person, or she attacks with a sharpened ruler. And it's really funny. Like, the way that it's basically that this guy has just got this imagination that he thinks of everything like he's the protagonist of a video game. And I'm really digging it. And the other thing about this series is that they have so many, like, they have these kind of wacky side missions that you'll run into, and they have a ton of mini games. Like, you can play full-fledged, like, you could buy, like, this would be a whole game that you might buy just to play, of shogi, like Japanese kind of chess-like game, mahjong. There is a full-out poker and blackjack gambling place. There's gambling place that has like Japanese gambling games that I am not good at because I'm still trying to figure out what everything is.
They have slot machines.
They have slot machines, like the actual Sega slot machines, like completely the way they are in the real world are there. There are Sega arcades with full Sega arcade games within the game. Like you can go to the arcade and play like Burnout or whatever. The complete arcade game is just inside the game, and you can go to the arcade and play it within your video game if you want to do that. There's this like go-kart thing that is basically a full-out Mario Kart-esque karting game, except instead of blue shells, you have like bazookas, which is in lasers and stuff like that, which is pretty fun.
There's a lot of game.
There's so many things to do, and then you run into all of these just bizarre side missions where you have to like, you know, find somebody's missing crawfish, or like I'm doing this one where this vendor has made this super spicy kimchi, and I have to find people in the city who need the super spicy kimchi to make them run fast. So like there's an old lady I met earlier who kept trying to cross the road, but she walked too slow and she could never get across because the light changed. So I'm pretty sure I have to find her and give her the miracle kimchi so she can cross the street. Like it's all this stuff like this, and it is so bananas.
Miracle kimchi.
That's what it's called. It's a little inventory item called Miracle.
There's the guy with the bubbles who gets thrown out of a bathhouse.
Oh yeah, the guy gets.
And you have to escort him to find clothes.
Yes, you have to escort him to find clothes and help him avoid any places where there is water that his bubbles might get washed off, so that he would be indecent. There's this in a lot of JRPGs you have a summons, right, or it's like a big spell that does a lot of damage, and in this one there's a smartphone app called Pound Mates where you can summon someone to come help you beat somebody up. And as you do these different side missions, you can unlock these summons, which are hilarious. Like when I did the mission about the crawfish, I unlocked her as a pound mate, and her name is Nancy-chan. And she comes with this like a swarm of crustaceans to pinch my enemies to death if I want them to. Like I can get a sumo wrestler to come for like 20,000 yen and beat up all my enemies. It's just so funny. But you can't use it within dungeons because you don't get a signal in the dungeons in your cell phone apparently. But like all the weapons are like normal things, and all the armor is like normal stuff, and the juxtaposition of this really mundane world with a really relatively serious crime drama story about these 3 different organized crime syndicates who are like in this cautious 3-way alliance, or like detente in Yokohama. It's like there's the Japanese mafia, the Korean mafia, and the Chinese mafia are all in this city, and they're all kind of poised on the like if anything upsets the balance, it's going to be bad. But right now they're okay. And so you go like in different parts of town or the different territories, and there's all this like alliance and intrigue and twists and turns in the crime story. And then you go and like one of the missions I've started, but I don't know what's going to happen with it, is like there was this dominatrix who was getting bullied that I ran across in a parking lot, and I told the other ladies to leave her alone. That was only the first. That was only the first stage in this. That was only the first stage in this side quest, which I'm looking right now is called 50 Shades of Play. So I don't know what's going to happen next in that one.
It has this great tonal kind of shift, but it makes sense within the world of the game.
Like it does, and
where you can go from like hardcore, straight up kind of mafia
Japanese
story to karaoke.
Oh yes, there is karaoke.
There is karaoke. There's lots of karaoke. Lots and lots of karaoke.
I kind of love about it is that when they did the voice for the karaoke, like they're not quite in key. Like they're not very good. They sound like they don't sound like professional singers. They sound like people singing karaoke. Like they're not that great. There is actually a DLC for this one with some additional jobs you can unlock, and it's $5. And I've actually thought about buying it because one of the jobs it includes is called the Devil Rocker, and it's basically kiss makeup. It's kiss
It's kiss makeup.
It's basically Kiss makeup, and all of the attacks apparently are done with an electric guitar as the weapon, which I believe is a bludgeoning weapon. There is a musician class already in the game, which is like a hippie kind of musician, and it's like a bard, but all the attacks are like he sings a song about give peace a chance, everybody, and it reduces all of your enemy's attack stat.
And he whacks people on the head with the guitar.
And then he whacks people over the head with the guitar for his like basic attack, and it's just so wildly over the top and ridiculous that it's like you never know what you're gonna find. You come around the corner and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen when I go in here? It doesn't have one thing that I liked in Judgment, which was in Judgment you actually have a goal to become friends with literally like everybody in town, like all of the different people who work in the different restaurants and all that. Like there's a lot of, because in that one you play as a private detective.
Which to be fair, is specifically your goal in most video games, to become friends with everyone.
That's true. No, it was a really good fit for me because I always want to be friends with everybody in video games. I get really upset if a video game sets itself up so that I can't like be friends with everyone. I get really mad because I tried to be nice to them and the game wouldn't let me. I just want people to be my friend. But this game, it's really, there's a lot in it about the power of friendship. Like it has a very Persona-like bond system between the party members where every time you go out to eat with them or have a conversation with them or fight with them, you get bond points. And every so often it reaches a level that you have to unlock the next level by going and doing what the game calls drink links, where you go to the bar and have a drink and talk about their life. And you unlock more of like their backstory and stuff that's going on with them, and you help them with problems. And
so this is Piano Man, the video game. Is that what this is?
It is a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of,
including a kitchen sink, which is probably somewhere in Yokohama right now.
Probably. I mean, I haven't put anybody in the chef job yet. They may actually, be able to use it. Like, I mean, the host uses wine bottles as his weapon. That class. The chef, I think, uses like flambe torches and whisks and things. It's a strange game.
It's lovely.
It's so much fun. It just is. And the main character, he's so dim and so naive and so gullible, but he's really quite sweet. You kind of root for him anyway, even though he's the world's worst gangster. And George Takei is in it. He plays the Yakuza mob boss that is the protagonist's original guy. So what happens, he goes to prison, like he takes a fall for another member of his clan and goes to prison for like 20 years and comes out in the present day. And there's a lot in the beginning where he's looking around at like selfie sticks and stuff and being like, what happened to the world while I was in jail? And every once in a while, he'll say something in random dialogue and someone else will be like, what? Oh yeah, you're talking about, will DVD players ever come down in price? I really want one, but I could never afford it. He's like, I bet VHS is really cheap now though. And his friends are kind of like, let's just say a lot's happened in the world of home media since you went to prison. It's just great.
It's cuckoo. It's great.
It is so bananas. And it's like the fact that it leans so unashamedly into just being completely bananas is what makes it fun. It's like, it's so over the top, but it's so clearly done with love that I just cannot help but enjoy it, especially as a person who does like JRPGs, but some of them can get a bit much. I like a good JRPG with a lot of systems and a lot of stuff to do, but like I have tried twice to play Final Fantasy 15 and could just never get into it enough to get to the good part. Like I've played like 20 hours in that game and apparently I haven't got to the good part yet. And I'm patient, but I'm not that patient.
But this gets this mainlines good stuff immediately. It's great.
Yes, it's like from pretty much the beginning. You're like, all right, I'm here with this. This is fun. And it, the acting is good. The animation is good. It's out. I think this is the first mainline in the series that came out for the Xbox, right?
They re-released the others for
yeah,
the
they
Xbox.
re-released the others, but but
this is the first one that was released with this console. Yes.
Yeah, like the series used to be PlayStation exclusive, and lately they have, like, a lot of the older ones are out on Game Pass now. The other thing is, this is the first, I think, of the mainline series that actually has English voice acting. All of the previous ones were only available in Japanese with English subtitles. Judgment has English voice acting, and this game has English voice acting as well, with a lot of actors that I was familiar with from mostly other games. Like, I was like, oh, I know that voice. That was somebody in Persona 5. Because, it's an industry. Doing translated Japanese media is some people's whole careers.
Well, we are
highly recommended. It's really good.
Cool. We are rapidly approaching midnight. So, who has not done a recommendation at this point?
I haven't. Sorry.
That's all right.
You want me to go?
What you got?
Okay.
Yeah, go.
Rapid order.
Just don't do like 12.
Sure. First, Mank, the movie. It's out on Netflix. Charles Dance is William Randolph Hearst. Gary Oldman is Herman Mankiewicz. Bill Nye is Upton Sinclair. It's about making Citizen Kane. John will probably hate it. It's really good. Give Gary Oldman the Oscar now. Music-wise, a band from San Francisco called the Reds, Pinks, and Purples called You Might Be Happy Someday. It's really, really great. It's a really nice sort of indie pop kind of stuff. Also, Nick Cave's Idiot Prayer is amazing. It's a movie, and it's basically a recording of him just playing in a palace in England with a piano, feeling very sad about his son dying. It's really, really good. And two books real quick. Sweet Dreams, A Story of New Romantics by Dylan Jones, the whole New Romantic movement, everything from Duran Duran and the Specials to, Ultravox. It's a whole big book on it by Dylan Jones. It's great. One of the things that's getting me through this whole mess is a cookbook that a friend of mine has put out, and I didn't realize it was this great, but it's called Curry and Kimchi, Flavor Secrets for Creating 70 Asian-Inspired Recipes at Home. I've basically been cooking, like, not as well as Damien, but I've been cooking like a madman, no pun intended, at home. That's been great. There is a really great webinar series called New York Adventure Club. You can go online, New York Adventure Club, Google it. They have all kinds of cool seminars. I'm going to one on speakeasies next week, and another one on origins of jazz in Harlem in a couple weeks, but they're all New York themed, hour and a half little seminar webinars on New York. Kim, I sent you the one on bras that's coming up. Yeah. Song Exploder, it's on Netflix. It's amazing. The Doctor Who DVD, The Faceless Ones, is out. It's a second Doctor story. It's mostly animated. It's great. And finally, thank God, the one nice thing about being in isolation is people sort of feel sorry for you. So a friend of mine left on my doorstep something I'd never heard of called Koskenkorva, and it is vodka from Finland, and it is blueberry juniper vodka, and it is, oh my God, I would share, but I won't.
Better living through booze. Better living through booze.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, someone I know who won't be mentioned spent most of her quarantine drinking wine and sleeping, which makes me very happy than what it could be. But yeah.
You leave my mother out of this.
But don't, no. So that is my very quick and rapid fire list of recommendations for all of you. I've emailed it to you, Widge, so you've got it all written.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Rob.
Sorry.
All right. All right. That
I guess
leaves
it's
us
just
with you,
me.
John.
Yeah. So I really don't have any recommendations. Go watch the first lap of the Bahrain F1 and watch in amazement at how a person survived that horrific crash, Romain Grosjean, the Bahrain Formula One race this past weekend. That's all I can watch. And then, do all your holiday shopping at needcoffee.com/Gary's Miracle Kimchi.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kimchi.
Well, John is actually correct. If you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon.
That's not what I said.
then anything that you buy on that session will give us kickbacks, which will help pay for the servers and whatnot. So we do appreciate that. I will simply add to everything else that has been said about what has gotten people through the craziness this year is Taskmaster. You can find it on YouTube. The UK show, not the US version, not the New Zealand version, not any of the other versions, because there's about 7. But the original UK version is brilliant, and it's on its 10th series currently right now. So highly recommended. They have pretty much all of them on YouTube.
By the way, America, you missed the boat on that one.
Yep. Sorry, I don't know why Netflix doesn't just pick that up and put it out there, because I don't know how the hell it wound up on the CW.
It's probably going to be on like the Paramount thing when they go over to Paramount.
Oh, really?
That's probably what's going to happen with that. So the other series that didn't get to television or probably didn't get to network are probably going to air probably with the Paramount thing. Just a guess. CBS paid for the rights, so they're going to use them.
I suppose. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Weekend Justice, and the final one that we're recording for 2020 as we get ready to jettison this year and hopefully do bigger and better things. And I think now is pretty much. I think
Don't
now is we.
That's how we fucked up 2019 and got to 2020 in the first place.
Wouldn't that get us to 40?
Everyone disrespected 2019, and 2020 said, "Watch."
I think I forgot to record this.
Oh, well, Kim, if you remember half of what you said about Yakuza, we'll be fine.
Yep. So, as we stare back at the wasteland that is 2020, I think the only thing possibly that we could say as we do so would be to stare at each other and say, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac Wiener.
Oscar Mayer Bacon.
Wear a fucking mask.
Isaac.
Gary, Indiana.
And wear a fucking mask.
Please.
Support your local Gary, won't you?
Gary.
Gary's Old Time Tavern.
For the Fallout fans.
So is that it?
I think
that's it.
I think that's it.
Could that possibly? Could there possibly be more? No.
Hey, I got nowhere to go.
There could be
I
more.
haven't had very much social outlet
That's
this
it.
year, so
Yeah.
It's just fun.
I
You're
can talk
fine.
about it.
You're fine. Okay, so
Boy.
everybody, let's do this again next year, except not as long. And I mean the year. And because 3 years ago it was March.
Yep.
So let's not do that again. But otherwise, without the horribleness and the plague and the calendar, let's just do this again. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Buckle in and try and get through the rest of this year.
Oh, you got that fucking. Yeah, I got to go back to work next week.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh, God.
I wish it was just this year. But it won't be.
Okay.
There's more.
Nigeria has
1 year at a time.
Oh, I'm not
All
even
right.
trying to get there via years. I'm like doing it like I
You
did.
pay in 1 year installments. That's what we agreed to.
Look, all right, I'm on the daily plan, like a cup of coffee. For just 75 cents a day, you too can just stay alive and have a shambling sense of sanity.
It's overrated.
You have no idea. Damien, you have no fucking idea, man. Jesus.
Oh, but I do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
he's
I literally have lost 19 pounds in a week. So
Oh, that thing.
It's
stress.
okay.
no,
Well,
I've
considering-
gained them all through stress.
it's a bread and vodka diet. So
well, with the exchange rate the way it is now, at
Yeah.
least you lost them now and not, earlier in the year.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, look, you should have gotten on Brian's challenge. He lost like what, 130
I
something?
know he's doing great. He's doing great. All right, you kids
So
all
is
stay
he the one selling the toys, Damien?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, so we
Like
can buy
most-
tennis shoes? Is that what he's doing now?
No, I don't think it's so he can buy tennis shoes, but yes, that tennis shoes obviously are the new thing. But
I mean,
but no, what he said was, he's actually at a point of like, I've got stuff that I haven't even opened anymore, and that's not fun, right? And so he's keeping some stuff. He made the video, he did his video. He told us about a week or so ago that this was happening.
I don't have time to watch all of his videos.
Yeah, and so he sent the video out Sunday and he said, look, there's a lot going on. I want a little more with the way, the world has changed and what have you. And, I had all this stuff and I like all the stuff in the arcade and everything, but it was really like when I have people over. And unfortunately, this year's like been 0 people. And it's expensive to, kind of have and maintain all of that. And I realized I could be putting more equity into my house and to other things. He wants to pay the car off, a little bit more equity in the house, some possible skin surgery, now that he's lost all the weight. So, there's a few things he said, and he's like, I'm going to continue to collect things. Like, he was like, I'm always going to love, like, Lord of the Rings and what have you, and wrestling, stuff like that. That, part of the collection will be maintained. But there's a lot of stuff he's just getting rid of. Like the Hot Toys are on the block.
Yeah. Well, they take up a lot of space.
They do. They absolutely do. So that's what he and Josh are doing this week as we speak.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go pee.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to bed because I got to be up in 4 hours. So
I got to drink and check on the old lady.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You kids
bye.
have fun. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.